Hey everyone, welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast, Season 2, Episode 16. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Zelda tomorrow. I mean, clearly we're talking about it. We're going to speculate about it. Sure, the speculation won't matter in 12 hours, but it doesn't really matter because it matters at the moment we're recording this, and we will try to get the audio version up tonight. So our audio people have a chance at least to listen to it in the morning before the actual trailer drops.
It all depends on YouTube.
And then we'll see how wrong we are.
You're right.
We're probably very, very wrong. I would like the live audience, just a smidge of feedback from you guys on if Eric and I's audio is lining up with our video. We've been having issues with it lately, so we're just trying some different audio delays and stuff to try to line it up. So just let me know if it just looks fine. That's what I really want to know. Anyways, I'm your host as always, Nathaniel Rumpledance, and you guys know my co-host as always in the dead center middle with the same little spacey background going on, Mr. Eric Moore.
Spacey. Hello, everybody.
And then one of our pseudo co-hosts down below, and Andres Restart. How you doing, buddy?
I would do. I'm sorry I got my butt kicked by the great Lionel on stream earlier.
Yeah, and you know what I like? You know what I like to hear about that? It makes me not feel as bad when I'm playing. Because like I can beat him now, but like I was getting my butt kicked. People were like, "Oh, you suck at Zelda." I'm like, dude, when you haven't done it in a long time and you're starting fresh,
when you only have 3 hearts in master mode with no equipment,
yeah,
every little error.
Yeah, the keys to go to that waterfall and go get the chest on those floating platforms. They have the better weapons.
I got one better weapon, but I think I need more. I
think I
like need
2 or 3. Yeah,
yeah. Among other things.
Among other things.
No, I failed.
Failed.
Oh.
Okay. He's a little embarrassed. He thought he was better than this. That's well,
Friday.
Friday
we're streaming again.
There will be revenge.
There will be.
One of the original co-hosts of the Nintendo Prime podcast, back when it, was this little tiny thing that nobody really watched. Mr. Darren Har, how we doing, bud?
What's up? Yeah, I think I was contributing when you had a website.
We still have a website.
That shows how much I know. What's up, everybody? How's it going?
You're welcome to come write for it if you want. I'm always looking for writers.
I'll do it. Don't expect me to be that active, but
well, if you make a single post that you're already more active
than anything
than everyone else. So, then we got Nick Barrett from the Joystick Drift podcast. How's it going, bud?
It's going, and Andres, if you feel bad about how things went in Breath of the Wild, I'll make you feel a little better because I fought Thunderblight Ganon on stream last weekend and I had the Master Sword and it took me 10 tries. Now granted, I also only had 3 hearts. So it was like 1 hit and you're dead from anything.
Yeah. That one's tough too.
But
it's really tough.
Still didn't go very good for me.
You were about to make me feel really happy for a moment because I just live streamed Thunderblight Master Mode, no Master Sword, but I have way more than 3 hearts. So the moment you said 3 hearts, I'm like, damn it. I can't even tout that I did it in 1 try. That doesn't even count because you were doing 3 hearts.
Yeah. If you can tank hits, then
Well, tank hits. It's 1 hit. You get 1 more, you die. I get hit twice, you're done. It's just that I can take 1 hit.
You can heal yourself.
I know, right? You can eat food in this game. That's right, a thing.
But if you have 3 hearts,
you're done.
Underwear for
you're
armor,
done. It's 1 hit. You're done. You can't make a mistake at all. None. Oh, I missed a parry. I could survive 1. Not with 3 hearts.
No,
not with 3 hearts.
No, and if a Keese comes and messes up your lock on.
I didn't watch it. I should have watched your stream. I would have had a good time.
You know what was really funny? I was really mad throughout the stream because I couldn't find a shield. And then I was getting to the final shrine on the Great Plateau, and I found one of those the bokoblins that are the undead bokoblins. Are they stall? They're not Stalfos. They're Stalkin. Like the stall bokoblins.
Yeah, I don't remember what.
I forget their name, but I found one and it had a shield and I brutally murdered it and I took its head and I kicked it off a cliff, which was so satisfying. And then I took my shield and I was like, I got my shield, baby.
The Stalkoblin?
Hell yeah.
Is that what it is? Stalkoblin?
Yeah.
There we go.
Nice. Nice. So yeah, welcome Nick in. Mandy Lee Plays is also here. Welcome back, Mandy. How you doing?
Hello, glad to be back. Thank you for having me. And
Thank you for stepping up. You and Nick last minute. Thank you guys so much for stepping up last minute and volunteering. That's awesome. And we had some other people who messaged as well. You guys were just a little too late. That's all right. Maybe we'll get some of the other people message in on future shows. Just to address a little bit of elephant in the room, as you guys can see, there is no Mike Odyssey this week. He has made a decision, as he announced publicly, to step away from the podcast for the time being. We wish him well. You guys should still go subscribe to his channel, check out his content. He's a great guy. You know, what's this thing is something than journey on. Never give up and journey on. So definitely go check out his stuff. I don't know if and when he'll ever be coming back to the podcast, but we wish him well. And he's always welcome back if he ever decides he wants to come back. All right. Let's get into the first thing we start every show with. And what have we been playing lately? Well, it's pretty obvious. Some of us have been playing some Zelda lately. Is there anything else you've been playing, Andres, besides Zelda?
Tetris.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
The OG or like
I've been playing. Since then since Game Boy so came out, I've been playing Tetris and competing with my dad.
Nice.
We're both, we always unlock. We don't always, but in the original Tetris, if you go far enough, you unlock like the rocket ship, and it's kind of like, oh, I got 110,000. Well, I got 120,000. Like so, kind of compete against each other. But beyond that,
there's a Tetris movie.
The Tetris mobile game.
No movie. I think.
Yes, actually, I intend on watching it. I haven't seen it yet.
It's good.
Yeah. Beyond that, I haven't really had much time to play anything else. I've been busy creating content. But I was happy to start streaming because it's kind of like, oh, I'm working but playing games at the same time, and it just dawned on me, oh, this is kind of cool. And the setup I had was actually kind of worked pretty well. So I may be doing it more. I think I may have figured out the right balance, which is whenever I want.
Whenever I want. That's always the best.
Since I was on his podcast, I always said, "Why don't you stream games? Why don't you stream games?"
Because the thing is, my channel is a discussion channel, right?
Yes.
So that has to be the focus. But
sure.
If there are times it makes sense to do a game, I would do it. But I've always thought, okay, but can I just pick like a consistent time? The answer is no. But what I realize is like, hey, I could just tell people ahead of time, hey, look, I have a window of opportunity to do it now. Let's do it. Right.
Just shove it right in there.
Yeah. And also I might be getting a little bit of help to get some editing done that's not on my own. So that might help a little bit. It makes a difference.
It's nice to have help. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, streaming wise, it's always one of those things. I obviously do a lot of discussion streams, my podcast and my normal streams. So I'm a discussion channel, news channel. So like, that's what people come to watch. They always get better viewership as well than my game streams do. That being said, streaming the hell out of Tears of the Kingdom, and I keep slipping Breath of the Wild in almost every stream I do because I am trying to beat Master Mode before Tears of the Kingdom comes out. We did have I'm actually pretty decent way in. I'm not 100%ing it. So I only have one more Divine Beast, but I still want to do all the memories and I want to do all the shrines. And then we'll see. I'm not sure how many of the side quests I'm going to do because there's a lot. But we'll see. I'm definitely not doing all the Korok seeds. But I plan to like the night before Tears of the Kingdom comes out. That's when I'll take out Calamity Ganon. That'll be like how I wrap up it is, hey, let's just take him out. Let's watch the ending and then probably go online to watch the true ending if I didn't do everything I needed to do for that. But and then we'll get ready for Tears of the Kingdom the next day. We had a $5 super chat come in. Just want to make sure we recognize anyone who super chats to get featured in the show quick. Attack of the backlog. So congrats on 100K, dude. Well deserved. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. So yeah, Zelda. You played some Tetris. Cool. I've just played nothing but Zelda. I don't really have much more to say on it. You guys are seeing it on all my live streams. So, Eric, what have you been playing lately?
Not much before tonight. I did bring my Switch in and played like 10-15 minutes of Sparks of Hope, the Tower of Doom DLC.
Yeah, you're doing the DLC. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I've already 100% of the story, so I'm good there. So I just figured something quick to try.
Is this the first time you tried it?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
No, it's definitely different. So
yes, it is.
I walked through the first one and then got destroyed in the second level. So, woo.
Yeah, that happens. That happens. Let's see. We have Major League Plays. What have you been playing lately?
All right. Well, I play a lot of games at the same time, so let me start. I'm finishing up Octopath Traveler 2. I'm
Nice.
almost 100 hours in. Final boss is beating my butt. And then I'm playing Ryza 3 and also Bayonetta Origins. That one is really good. Like, it's a hidden gem for sure. It shouldn't have been $60, but a lot of people are going to miss out. It's actually really good. The visuals are stunning. But
Nice.
that's what I've been playing.
Nice. Darren, what have you been playing lately?
Well, I saw the Mario movie on Saturday, so it gave me a little bit of Mario fever. The movie was fantastic, so I remembered I hadn't finished my playthrough of Mario Galaxy on Switch that I was almost done with, so started chugging along at that, almost done with that, playing some of the new Mario Kart 8 tracks I haven't played yet, and threw it back with some Super Mario Brothers 3, my favorite Mario NES game.
There you
Also
go.
had a chance to jump into Season 3 of Modern Warfare 2 today. Played a couple games of that. So
Sweet.
Nice.
Getting that mix in. Love it.
Yeah.
Nick
over the
Barrett,
place.
what you been doing lately, bud?
Well, streaming Breath of the Wild, and I guess like everyone else nowadays, doing a final master mode run. I'm doing something a little different I'm doing all the divine beasts before going and talking to Impa. Just because every other time I've gone to Impa first. So my chat
Something new.
decided
Yeah.
let's just go do them. And then we'll go back and get Impa later. Other than that, I haven't really had time to play anything because I've also been making content. So that's what I've been doing.
Nice. All right. So we're gonna just do some quick little headlines that we're not covering in individual topics today. We got two big topics for you guys. The second topic kind of goes over a number of things, but they're like smaller mini topics. I think we could have some fun discussions on. But let's just go through some of the headlines over the last week that we aren't doing topics on. We got Trine 5 was announced. So fans of that franchise, it's coming to Nintendo Switch this summer. Pokemon Stadium is now available on Nintendo Switch Online. I know a lot of people have been playing that. Unfortunately, they did not make it work with like Pokemon games on Game Boy stuff because they just didn't yet. Yeah, I don't know. We're hoping that they do it in the future, but hasn't happened yet. Please make this right someday. That being said, because I don't like playing with the rental Pokemon. It's just not as fun to me. You just don't feel the personal connection because they're not your Pokemon, right? Then we had the Mario movie. Obviously, we know that came out. A bunch of us have seen it already. Some have seen it multiple times. The big news for that is that it has hit 377 million globally over the weekend, making it the largest animated film launch of all time.
Well deserved.
The largest,
deserved.
like everything. It
Just
beat
come full
Frozen
circle.
2, which was the largest previously at 160 or 368. So like that is incredible. Kudos to Illumination. Well on its way to be $1 billion. The question at this point is not will it be a top 10 box office for animated film? How far up the top 10 is it going to finish? That's
I
the
need it to
question at this
beat
point.
that stupid Lion King remake because that shouldn't even count.
Yeah.
And I need something to dethrone that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, is it the remake that's that high up on the box office sales? I thought it was the original.
No, it's the remake because it's all CGI lions, so it's technically an animated
Yeah,
movie.
but it's
Even
But
though
it's
they call
not.
it live
yeah, they
action.
call it live action. It's so dumb. It shouldn't be called an animated film, but I understand why they did it. It's a
Well,
technicality.
It is an animated film.
It's a
But it
technicality.
is. But they're not real
But
lions.
they're trying to be
No. I
Every
get it.
film is an animated
yeah, they're
film.
trying to be realistic in CGI. It's like okay. I put it like this, and I know that why they don't count it. The Avatar movies are mostly CGI too, but mostly that's the thing that keeps them from being that there is some live action. It's dumb though, because that's what I kind of feel like that film falls in is that category instead. But you know what? Doesn't really matter. Hopefully, I mean it's gonna be top 10. That's a given at this point. It's just how far up the list it's gonna go. We had a couple super chats I want to get to quick. We just had Matthew Williams with 999 saying excited for the new trailer. just subbed and love the content, we are going to be talking about that trailer here in a little bit. Then we had $1.49 coming in with a super sticker from Blay. Thank you so much for the support of the show. All right, let's get into the next headline, because that's a really big one. I'm really glad for the Mario movie. To all the people that thought it would tank.
How's that crow taste?
Yeah.
I mean, all signs are pointing towards it becoming one of the most lucrative movies of all time.
Yeah.
So
It literally, I mean, there's a projection that Nintendo's take home on it just from the box office might be $1 billion in the end. Take home. That's after expenses.
It's weird though. The theater I went to was empty. I was just like,
Well, what day did you go?
like I went the day after it came out.
On a Thursday?
They didn't have the popcorn tin. I was like,
Yeah,
kinda
they
pissed.
didn't have it for me either.
I'm like, what? I wanted to take a picture.
Yeah, our
But,
theater will get it like 2 weeks after the movie comes out. It's so weird. Some theaters are
Yeah,
weird like that.
and I was
Yeah.
bummed I didn't see the Legend of Zelda trailer because I
Darren, I am not featuring that comment, you mastered.
So.
You're on the show. You can just say it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the $2 though. Anyways, next up, so just in some negative news, this happens. Rogue Company on Switch will no longer be supported as of June 20th. They have also shut down all of their in-game microtransactions right now, so people don't spend money on a game that won't be around. So kudos to them, because they could have kept those up if they wanted to. And that became mostly notable because that was actually a game featured in a Nintendo Direct. So, we don't get a lot of the games that appear in Directs actually shut down. Fun fact about that game, it never really ran quite right on Switch, and that's probably why it never established a player base. So it's one of those games that you're always going to imagine what could have been if it would have had more time to cook.
there's
What
always
game was
those
that again?
times where
What game are we talking about?
Rogue Company.
Never
was
played it, but
playing
I've
Yeah,
heard.
a lot of people probably haven't. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
show of hands in the last 6 months, who's played Rogue Company on Switch?
I
Alright.
played it on Switch, but not in
In the last 6 months?
who doesn't know what Rogue Company is?
Considering I'm
The only
Googling
reason I
it
know
right
what
now.
it is because I Googled it before this podcast.
Yep.
I just Googled it 30 seconds ago.
Yep,
yeah,
so did I.
It never quite ran right on Switch, and so it kind of sucks because it
Oh.
probably could have been a decent game if it would have ran well on Switch, but it didn't, and now it's going away. Well, technically not going away. You'll still be able to play. There's no more support for it. So, and then we're going to end with a little bit of a positive story here before we get into our first topic, which is Tears of the Kingdom. I know people are really waiting for our discussion on that, but here's the thing. The Switch has now been back on top in Japan for 2 straight weeks with sales after PlayStation 5 led for 6 straight weeks, which is very interesting to note because a lot of people thought once PlayStation 5 was on top, it would never let it go again until Nintendo released a new system. And then here we are with Switch reminding the world, no, we still own Japan. Don't worry. We don't even have a major game coming out yet. Zelda's a month away.
Yeah, but I feel like people might be
It's
buying
building
some
up,
Switches.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's building up.
because of
Yeah.
that.
They don't want to worry about it, like launch day not being able to get one. So anyway, so Switch has been back on top a couple weeks. It'll probably remain on top for a little bit here through Zelda's launch and maybe the month after. We'll see. But it's just nice to see Switch kind of crack back in front, even though PlayStation sort of took over for a little bit in Japan. It's going to be an interesting fight this year, I think, on which one's going to come out on top at the end of the year for yearly sales. And who knows what else Nintendo might have cooking for hardware.
What? It would be funny if like Xbox wins or something.
Dude, if
Yeah,
Xbox
in
even wins a
Japan.
week in Japan, we need to make like a
Yeah, right.
dedicated video about how Xbox finally did something in Japan because they've been just getting 1,000 sales is good for them.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we gotta get to our first topic. Of course, this is the headline topic, and it's the breaking news of the day, right? We're getting a 3-ish, which typically means a little bit more than 3-minute long trailer for Tears of the Kingdom, and it's not just any old trailer. This is the final pre-release trailer, or as I said, pre-launch trailer. That means there'll be a launch trailer, right? Like launch week, they'll have a launch trailer. The launch trailer probably won't show anything new. It'll probably just flashes together stuff we've already seen. Who knows? But this is that trailer that, if you guys remember in Breath of the Wild's life cycle, that blew up to 20+ million views.
Oh, yeah.
It was the trailer of trailers that if there was any doubt on Breath of the Wild, it sold everyone. That's what this trailer is, that final one. And obviously, there's a lot of expectations for this trailer because of it being, hey, there might not be any more gameplay showcases. The next stuff we might get might just be media previews and stuff. So this is a lot. There's probably massive expectations on this trailer. So we got to get into what we think this trailer is going to be, what we think will happen, what we want to happen, and then we'll get into what the marketing is, or think the marketing will be for the game from now. It's a month out, guys. We're a month out from launch, so they're not going to be dumb marketing. But this is like the last big new piece. Like this is the last big. Here's a bunch of new all at once. We're not going to get another one of those. It seems like beyond previews and reviews and stuff like that. So I guess let's start with that. Who wants to go first on this one?
Well, I see a lot online today. A lot of people talking about that exact same thing. They're going to compare it to that infamous trailer.
It's hard not to. Yeah.
It's popped up in everyone's heads, popped up in my head too. I mean, we all remember watching it, the music, the title screen. I mean, all of that was, sometimes
it's like a
sometimes I rewatch that trailer just to feel something because like it was
perfect
nuts when that trailer came out.
That was a perfect trailer. I can't think of any
perfect.
flaw with it.
And it makes me nervous because people are expecting that level of trailer.
Mhm.
And I don't know if this trailer is going to deliver to something of that magnitude. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to show us some more things we want to see. But I don't know if it's going to live up to the hype, to the expectations.
Yeah, I hear you. And P Dubs here chimed in with $5. Thank you so much. So Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom be a series dividing gameplay philosophy. Open world player freedom shrines, crafting, linear concepts, dungeons, and items. I think we can get in that in a little bit here. With Tears of the Kingdom on if it's a series divide. I think it's pretty obvious it is one, but we can get in that a little bit. Let's keep going on this trailer thing. Do you guys think it's gonna be a story trailer?
Absolutely. It has to be a story trailer. It's the
Yeah,
only thing we
we
don't know about.
We haven't had one, but like also what if they just never give us one?
Then I'll just wait for the game and play it. But I think it's a story.
Give us a
trailer.
little bit.
His eyeballs are jumping over his head.
Yeah.
What story?
There's
Just
story.
give us a
There's
little
so
bit
much
to theorize
potential.
about for the next month, please.
Mhm.
I don't
can't
know
imagine-
anything.
I can't
Well,
imagine they do have
you
Some
already
reason-
seen it, Andres? You bastard.
I don't need to see it.
You don't need to
He's
see it?
seen it.
They already told us that it's a story trailer.
Did they for sure tell us it's a story trailer?
No, not officially, but the same way
Yeah.
they've told us the underground is the same way they've told us is a story trailer.
But they didn't really tell us there's an underground.
No,
either.
they did.
I don't
Exactly.
know.
I
I was
mean,
an
there's
underground
a
There's
doubter
still
story
for
people
a
that
while,
doubt
but I
it.
don't
We
think I can doubt it
technically have
anymore.
no
All
definitive proof.
Okay,
it's
all
an
right.
underground.
All right. So one
There's
point at a
caves.
time.
argue.
One
There's
point at a time.
caves.
All right. So I'll get to the underground in a moment.
Yeah.
The story trailer. Why is it a story trailer?
Because it has to be. We haven't had one.
Yes.
The last one was gameplay.
Listen, okay, I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone, but if you've seen the stuff in the art book, it's
Yeah.
the kind of stuff that we kind of need to know before the game comes out because it's something you can look at before playing the game. And they're basically just details that explain the beginning of the game.
Sure.
And if you think about the knowledge we had going into Breath of the Wild,
It was all beginning of the game.
yeah, so I think we're going to get some of that tomorrow. But not only for that reason, if you take a look at the piece of art that Nintendo provided for the
Mhm.
third trailer live stream, it shows the kind of the monument, the cave. I don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna go grab that image and show it here. in a
Yeah,
moment.
like it's showing a monument telling backstory of what's going on here of this force, maybe Zonai forces versus the Malice forces. Like this is something we've already seen, but it's a zoomed in shot, and we haven't seen the whole picture. And this is sort of hinting at they're going to explain more about what this is, which is straight up story details. So we're definitely getting more story details in the trailer tomorrow. Like, are they going to tell us every
Yay.
little detail? No, like they want us to go into this game to be surprised, right? Hence why we're just getting a trailer tomorrow. But actually, there's some debate there too, but we'll get to that later. But yeah, I feel pretty good about saying this is a story trailer. Very
Okay.
much. Yeah. You guys disagree?
I totally agree. I think it's a very interesting marketing play that they've waited until a month before the game comes out
Mm-hmm.
to drop anything about the story. I think I mean, from their eyes, it must be good because, I mean, we're still talking about it even without a trailer. So, but I also feel like we do kind of need to know the bare bones of what's going on. Like,
There's the image they shared.
even if it's just, hey, Link and Zelda go underground. They find this evil guy. Like, I didn't realize this until a little while ago. We don't know for sure that that's Ganondorf or Ganon. They've only referred to him as an evil force, and that's it. No name, no like, oh yeah, he's an evil dude. Just evil force. And I feel like at the bare minimum, we need to know, okay, Link and Zelda are doing this. They get separated, and now you got to fight against Ganondorf or Ganon or whoever it is. And I think that's what this trailer is. There'll be like gameplay sprinkled in there.
Oh yeah.
Just like that Breath of the Wild trailer was a very good mix of here's some gameplay footage, and then here's like story sprinkled in across gameplay footage, and then here's some story cutscenes, and then here's that super cool like grand sizzle reel at the end with the really hype music, and then the title screen.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's exactly what we'll get tomorrow, but I think something along that lines of like, here's a little gameplay, here's a little story, here's what gets you hyped going in like 1 month to go. Now just wait for the game to find out anything else.
I want to point out something. Just kind of like an interesting thought. So one reason why you can argue why they haven't told us the name, because they haven't spoke about the game themselves, right? Beyond the Aonuma demonstration where he actually talked about the game finally, which I'm glad we got that from him. They haven't been like, oh, okay, so this game, you do this, you have to go there. Like, they haven't done that. They just given us like these cryptic trailers, right? But we have gotten some voice acting, and they haven't made mention, to your point, Nick, they haven't mentioned Ganon by name. They're just like, there's this messed up thing going on. But the thing is, if you think about it from the perspective of Link and Zelda, they won't know who this guy is, where they'll be like, what the hell is this? Like, so they may not know, and someone else may have to educate them on the history of Ganondorf before they start to refer to him by name.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Probably Impa or something.
Maybe Impa. She might not know either, though, because she's been around for the Malice, but not that. It might be someone from another civilization that we haven't interacted with yet.
I
So,
mean, we gotta see something about the Zonai tomorrow. Like, the Zonai charge is in the game. They're confirmed to be in the game to some extent.
Their energy is confirmed to be in the game.
I mean,
they're probably in the game, but I'm just saying
they're on the green dragon circle is that's Zonai, right? Like,
we presume so. Yes, probably.
I would also
Lots
make
of
an
green
argument.
themes in this game,
It's-
and then
it-
there's
it-
a Zonai
it's-
charge that's green.
the one horned dragon is Farosh, which is the dragon that the Zonai worshipped,
Yep.
which is in the logo.
I would
Yeah.
also make a fair argument. I've seen a lot of theories out there that the people on this mural are the Zonai, and they're getting wiped out by.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I've
That's a
seen
good
that
point.
theory. Yeah.
I believe it.
Very plausible.
And where do they run and hide? To this guy.
Who the survivors.
Oh, that
It's
rhymes.
going to explain why the Zonai, this magic wielding tribe, mysteriously disappeared a long
And there's like
time
nothing
ago.
left but just ruins of where they used to live.
Yeah,
What is going on?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Was it there before in Breath of the Wild? And it's just nobody paid attention.
The Zonai runes are around. Like they have
Yeah.
locations and various runes all throughout Hyrule.
In the
There's a
sky
lot of
too?
Well, we can't see in the sky, but something interesting about the skybox in Breath of the Wild, if you look at it, the clouds are very weird. Like, they're very like thick and opaque. Like, it's not a normal skybox. And it almost feels like they had it in mind that they were going to sort of reveal more beyond those clouds at some point, especially when you account for the divine dragons and how they portal through to the heavens. And now in the heavens is the Sky Islands, which we see them in. So
Yeah.
My perspective that it feels like somewhat early on, they already had a pretty good understanding of where they were headed with the story here, like beyond Breath of the Wild. I feel like there's a lot of subtle signs.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if you think about, they have the Zone Eye stuff already in the game. I mean, even going back to the whole, this started off as DLC. What that tells you is after the initial DLC for Breath of the Wild, they weren't going to be done with Breath of the Wild. They already had plans to go further. It's just the ideas got so wild. They're like, you know what? This is not DLC. We have too much. We got to do something.
Yeah. Did you find the DLC underwhelming?
Oh, that's
I
a good
did.
question. So the
Just
fact
the
that one of the
motorcycle.
major packs of the DLC was just like master mode, that was stupid.
Oh, and a motorcycle and master mode. I mean, the stuff
Well,
to get
it came
the
with Trial of the
motorcycle,
Sword.
but
Trial of the Sword is
Sure.
really fun.
But
They
like
were,
we've had things
really
like Trial of the
hard.
Sword in prior games. You know what I mean?
I mean, previously we really didn't get Zelda DLC besides like Hyrule Warriors. So
Well,
Yeah.
I really
so-
wasn't
so-
expecting a giant like new.
I'll say
story
this
chunk.
because like there was like two big parts. Right? We had the story DLC, which is it story DLC? I don't even know if we can call it story. I don't think anything that happens is maybe.
There's story. We
Sure,
learn more,
we
about,
learn
the
more
champions.
about the champions, but they're dead still at the end, so it doesn't really matter.
It was cool. It was
Spoilers,
cool.
the champions are dead.
But thinking on how maybe they had something bigger in mind, right? What's interesting about it is that I do feel that the DLC for Breath of the Wild, while good, and I did enjoy it, and I don't regret that I got it. I do feel, looking at how we've seen DLC handled for future games, it's clear the standard for DLC is different. Like Nintendo is still kind of figuring it out. And not even just with Nintendo, like the standard for big adventure games with DLC is if either A, you don't do DLC, or B, you better eventually give like an actual other mini adventure, right?
And then Torn of the Golden Country happened.
Yeah, Torn of the Golden Country. We're about to get another one really soon for Xenoblade 3. You look at
yeah.
other you look at like, for example, Horizon, right? Like they
And
add,
even the Splatoon games had some pretty.
they
hefty
had
DLC added.
new campaigns, literal
Yeah.
new campaigns. And then there's other stuff that's not DLC, but sort of like it, like Future Connected and Definitive Edition and Bowser's Fury in 3D World. Like Nintendo's become a lot more comfortable with adding another adventure.
Bowser's Fury was amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bowser's Fury was
Yeah,
so
Bowser's
good.
Fury.
I bought 3D World just for Bowser's Fury. Like
I know a
I
lot
haven't
of people
actually
did.
played the rest of 3D World, just
I
that. 'Cause
actually didn't like it.
Oh,
I was
you
like,
take
oh,
that back, Mandy.
Mandy, you're not allowed an original opinion on
Oh,
this
it's so
podcast.
good.
No, how dare you? No, I'm just kidding.
What'd you not like about it?
That Bowser kept coming out like every
Okay.
15 minutes. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Can you-"
there's some people
Yeah.
that weren't really into that part of it.
Yeah. If it doesn't let you chill, which I understand.
I think it's just because it wasn't a full game. It was like
Yeah.
experimental mode they were just playing around with. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
if it was
most-
a full game, he wouldn't have been out every 15 minutes.
it would have been, there would have
I
been a
want
little
more
bit more to
weird
balance.
experimental stuff like that. Like I love that stuff.
Yeah. And that's what's cool about doing like these mini adventures is that it gives them an opportunity to give us something cool that doesn't require a full development cycle, but they can experiment a little bit. And if it's not something everyone loves, hey, it was just a mini adventure. It gave us extra
Right.
gameplay, but they can move on to the next big thing. It's not like, oh, well, we got to wait another 5 years after this screw up, right? Like it's not like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I kind of just want to talk a little bit about like the DLC situation around Breath of the Wild, because like we look at it and it does kind of feel like there were a lot of signs leading to Tears of the Kingdom, like this, like the final battle in Breath of the Wild takes place under the castle too, right? And then you have all the Sheikah technology that shows this like worship of the stars, and there's like a lot of little things there, and then you have all the Zonai ruins. And there's a lot of dialogue too that kind of supports this idea. So maybe at one point they were thinking that for the DLC that it was going to be like a bigger adventure, or that is just PR talk, and they were always planning on a true sequel. So, or maybe the timing of that discussion is very much exaggerated. Like maybe they're like, oh, we have all these ideas. Yeah, let's just do a sequel. And maybe they thought about DLC for a moment, right? Like the timing of when they made that shift is interesting. But all I can say is that it feels like there. I feel like there's a lot of evidence showing that Breath of the Wild was building up to something else.
Yeah, I think Breath of the Wild, and this is, I mean, it's my favorite game of all time. I have a lot of praise for it, but there's criticism as well. And I think one of the biggest things, like, I didn't like the first part of the DLC. I thought it was stupid. I thought the first part of the DLC was very, very stupid because it was a master mode when we used to get hero modes and stuff like that included with the purchase of the game. And even the Trial of the Sword. Hey, we had some stuff like that in other Zelda games, and it was just included with the game. So it was kind of weird.
Motorcycle, though, Nate. A freaking motorcycle, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
we'll see that. See, that's part of the story DLC, though. See, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
That part of the DLC I was more okay with. The only thing I didn't like about that story DLC is when you get to the end of it, it felt inconsequential. It didn't matter. There wasn't really a point other than to get the motorcycle. Like, you learn a bit more about the champions, but they're already dead, and they're still dead at the end, so it doesn't really change anything. And the true ending of Breath of the Wild doesn't change. So, like, it literally added nothing that mattered. Like, you could just not buy the DLC and be totally caught up for Tears of the Kingdom.
The cutscenes were cute.
Yeah, and the shrines they added were some of the best shrines in the whole
They
game.
add the best dungeon in the game as well.
Yes.
And
So,
some people really like the boss
content,
fight.
The content was good. The boss fight, it's at least unique. It's very unique compared to the rest of the game. But
Every boss fight in Breath of the Wild feels significantly more difficult than Calamity Ganon. I don't know how they fumbled that.
Yeah. Or if you play Master Mode, the Lionel. Oh, you're a great
Here
plateau.
we go again.
It always goes back to the Lionel.
Always brings that to
There's a
Lionel.
Lionel before the boss battle.
I wonder what's going to be the
Yeah.
new
Yeah, he's
Lionel this
hard.
time around. They got to have a new one, a new toughest enemy.
Yeah, I hope there's
Angel.
something new, but I also think Lionels are going to get revamped at the same time.
No, I'm
It's-
sure they will.
Mhm.
We're gonna get
Yeah.
double. We're gonna get double-headed Lionels now.
So
It's
they
gotta
have
be that
armor
three-headed
or
dragon.
something.
The Gleeok.
Yeah.
I hope that it's not just one thing. I hope it's several things that just kick our butt. I want to get wrecked. Like I want.
Damn.
Yeah, see,
I
he's
want to just
joking about how
suffer.
bad he is at Breath of the Wild, but secretly he loves it. He loves that he's getting wrecked.
I want the
Oh.
dark soul of Zelda.
No, 100%. I love to be challenged, right? Like that makes the
It's just
victory all
something
the more
that you
satisfying
back in
for
the
me.
day that wouldn't have been a challenge, and now you're like, whoa, I'm out of practice. bad.
No. The Lionel in the Great Plateau with 3 hearts is hard regardless. Like you can't get hit once and you have to be attacking
Yeah.
it for like 20 minutes straight with barely any like it's just hard. But
What do you
Yeah.
hit it with? Like a branch?
I mean, if you
You-
get
you-
all of the extra weapons they provide you from all the extra platforms in the Great Plateau, he's not that difficult. You just can't get hit, but you can take him out like any other Lionel.
Not getting hit. Is
But you have to get all the items.
not getting hit, it takes a while. It's hard.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not a 20-minute fight if you have all of the bonus items on out there. But that's if you bother to go get them all, which I refuse to fight him without doing so. So I'm just less skilled, basically. But no,
You
he's
can go
legit.
to
He's
the
legitimately
game.
difficult because you can't make a mistake. I know, like the whole not getting hit part. By the way, guys, I sucked at Lionels for a very long time. I'm still not very good. But they just have patterns, and if you recognize the patterns, you can avoid getting hit. But the problem is you have to be consistent. And as Andre said, when it's 20 minutes straight of being consistent, that's hard to not make one mistake.
Especially in the beginning if you don't have like the stasis upgrade. You
Yeah, the
can't,
stasis upgrade, that's a big one. Yeah.
yeah. So you can't
You
you
could,
can't like
like,
pause them.
Pin him down, like put him on the map, and then go do your stuff. When you're OP, come back and say, okay.
Right,
let's do
right.
Yeah, but that's
right.
not as fun. That's
But
not
exactly
as fun.
that yeah. I mean, we can do that, but
Sure,
that,
you can go do all the shrines, get a 4th heart, come back, fully decked out.
yeah.
No.
The point though is to find a way to do it with 3 hearts and
And a stick.
armor, just and sticks and a couple knives that you find.
A
throughout
couple
the
knives.
Plateau.
Maybe I'll try to
Yeah.
bomb kite him so he doesn't start healing.
Yeah, but then he just snipes you from the air.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I think
that's
it's
tough.
more dangerous that way.
Yeah, it really is. Early
Yeah.
game, it's very dangerous doing it that way.
Yeah, it's
I
great. I agree.
I've seen a
love it.
video where someone did it that way early, and I don't know how they avoided the snipes. Like they just kept dodging everyone. I'm like, how?
Well, maybe they were better at it.
Well, obviously, there's a lot of people way better at Breath of the Wild than I'll ever be.
Thinking on, I think angles matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Anyway, so yeah, look, this Tears of the Kingdom trailer. I mean, I think it's obvious it has to be a story trailer at this point, just because we haven't had one.
So you agree?
I mean, it's hard not to agree. There has to be a story trailer. I mean, the biggest giveaway is the art piece that we showed earlier. Like, they showed a mural that is very clearly, as we've already technically seen the mural tease before, but not explained. And they don't necessarily have to explain the mural, but I think they're just trying to tease, hey, we're going to give you some story. This is a 3+ minute long trailer. It's not just going to be flashes of a bunch of gameplay. Will there be some gameplay elements? Sure. Might we see some crazy fight we haven't seen before? Sure. Could they tease a dungeon? Maybe. But whatever they do in this trailer, story is going to be present. The beginning of the game will be better understood, I think, after this. And it's going to make people go nuts because that's like the one thing we don't really have. A lot of theories, a lot of guesses, a lot of what we think is going to happen. But the reason we don't know is because, hey, there was no E3 this time. People didn't get to play this game. There wasn't all this extra gameplay. We've only seen 10 minutes of it. If you think about this, if they show us nothing else at all, we'll have seen less than 20 minutes of this game. And that's supposed to be enough for every person in the world to make a decision on buying the game. And people seem to be making the decision and they're buying it like crazy. So kudos to them that their very different marketing strategy is working. But there's got to be story here because people just like to know. It just makes sense with what Nintendo's done in the past. They've always had story trailers for their games. Even Mario games have had story trailers. So I think this is going to have definitely at least half the trailer will be a pretty heavy dose of story. I think we're going to hear a lot of voice acting. This would be cool. Maybe a narrator. I don't know if they're going to do a narrator, but maybe. I know some people really want Cass to be the narrator. We'll see. He sort of had... in Breath of the Wild, he sort of had a little bit of a narration role. He just didn't have a voice for some of the riddles and the history of Hyrule. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be besides probably the beginning of the game. If they tease anything else but the beginning of the game story-wise, I will be surprised, but maybe it's just because they want to tease there's a plot twist or something because Zelda's pretty known for having plot twists in it in the past. But is there anything in this trailer you guys think besides story, because we can speculate all day on what they're going to show and what the story is going to be. Yeah. We're just going to know in 12 hours. So like we'll let Nintendo tell us the story. But what else do you think we need to see in this trailer? Because like this is it from Nintendo's side. This is their last major piece of showing the game.
The shrine and dungeons. They need to show a little bit of what that is.
I was always wondering, are it shrines, dungeons, which one? Both? Yeah, so.
Do you think they need to show a clarification that they have both? Like, because they could show something, you might think it's a dungeon, but it's actually a shrine.
I'm wondering if they have dungeons, only dungeons, or shrines, or both shrines and dungeons.
Yeah.
And how will we definitively know that it's not just all shrines?
Watch my theory videos.
There we go.
Watch Andres' reaction tomorrow when he makes 10 videos.
Yeah, right.
Trailer analysis incoming tomorrow.
Trailer analysis.
Just at the end of the trailer, it says "Watch Andres restart," and then there's like the end card link.
There you go. Hey, there's your
Andres.
million view
Andres.
video coming, Andres. You were predicting it.
There we go.
Nintendo just dumps them straight to him.
I'm waiting for that million view video. That's gonna be the moment.
So
however long that takes.
Look, I think it's easy to go with dungeons and shrines because technically they haven't been confirmed.
Right.
Like if you've paid attention to the art book and you pay attention to icons on a mini map, you can go, they're shrines at least. Dungeons haven't been confirmed anywhere other than just thinking that maybe certain art book stuff is dungeons, but we don't actually know. It would be cool to have that stuff confirmed, and I would like that. What I want to see beyond that stuff, because I think it would be neat if they somehow pseudo confirmed a dungeon, even if that's all they showed. They didn't show a shrine; they showed an actual themed crazy dungeon. Is I want to see some unique fight encounters. I would like to see, like, we saw the giant golem smashing out. I don't know if that's a thing we fight in the world or if it's a boss. I don't know. But I would like to see a tease of at least like 2 major, completely different bosses. I would like to see some sort of epic air battle that we could never do in Breath of the Wild. We saw the pattern with the different arrows shooting while falling. Haven't seen that actually needed to be done. But what if there's this epic encounter with some crazy dragon midair that we just have to go nuts? I would like to see that just teased a little bit. Like, hey, you wanted to see what's different between this and Breath of the Wild. Couldn't do that, could you? That's crazy. I also would like to see maybe a unique puzzle situation that it feels like the new abilities enable us to do or solve that we couldn't do with prior abilities. I think everything they've shown so far kind of just feels like, I could have solved that with the old abilities. Like, oh, how am I going to get across this lake? Just give me Cryonis. I'm good. Like, I could have just crossed it. Oh, how am I going to move this giant thing for a puzzle? Magnesis. Like, I want to see something with the abilities puzzle-wise. And I'm sure there is all throughout the game, but I want to see like a really cool puzzle that's just like, yeah, we couldn't do that before. Like, there wasn't any possible way in Breath of the Wild for us to trick the game to do that puzzle. That we need this new stuff. I don't know what that is, because I'm not the one coming up with the puzzle ideas, but something. Because otherwise, if it just feels like a bunch of puzzles I could have already done in Breath of the Wild, I mean, that kind of cheapens the puzzles a bit, because I'll just be like, oh yeah, if I had bombs, I could do this, or if I had that, I could do. I know I got to figure out a different way to do it now, but also,
yeah, I'm really hoping that the puzzles this time feel really fresh, right?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to go for there.
Yeah. And not just like we see that they're at least doing a lot of like environmental puzzles with the Sky Islands, which is cool. But yeah, I hope the shrine challenges or whatever the equivalent is, that by the way, shrines are effectively confirmed. If you just look at the mini map, it's
in the official footage, it's pretty obvious they're shrines.
Yeah,
which I'm fine with. I'm fine with the shrines. I love them. I don't care if I ever
less
play
combat
dungeon
shrines,
ever again.
more original shrines, please.
I don't mind combat shrines as long as it's a unique fight.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They're not. At least they weren't.
Yeah,
I want original shrines, originality.
I just want something fun and unique each time. Like that to me is going to be great.
I don't even care if the theme is the same, like aesthetic wise. I want what we do to be new and fresh in every shrine.
Yeah. I mean, technically also Breath of the Wild had dungeons, by the way. Like, people talk about Breath of the Wild not having dungeons.
Beast.
It had the Divine Beasts were dungeons, and if you count
Those
the
were
DLC,
dungeons.
yeah,
Those are dungeons. Yep.
They're
and then
just
the one in
not-
the DLC, yeah.
we just
4
didn't
big
like
dungeons.
the dungeons.
They just didn't feel different enough. They felt like after doing 120
large
shrines, it just feels like a bigger shrine.
I liked them, but I think they kind of blend together.
Yeah.
I think each one
the
they put so much
goal in
work.
each one's the same. Tap your Sheikah slate on the pedestals 5 times, fight the boss.
No, I mean, I guess the challenge is that we have a higher expectation now, right? Because we think about previous Zelda games. They had a few mini dungeons and a few little mini puzzle challenges throughout the world, but it was never 120 mini dungeons, right? Like, so like the current standard for open world Zeldas have over 100 mini dungeons and still have massive dungeons on top of that. But they have a bigger development team now. They're developing longer. So I think that, we can expect that or something comparable to that. But I guess what most of us fans want is we want dungeons. They don't have to be exactly like previous Zelda games. Like, I'm okay with moving forward with the open air gameplay, but there are certain elements of them that were great, like how each one had its own build up, its own story, its own like lore behind it, its own theme. Every single one felt very fresh and different. Like, you explore the Arbiter's grounds, and it's creepy. It's an old jail filled with all these lost souls and criminal souls. Like, that's dark. But there's all these unique puzzles built around the spinner and hidden ghosts and things you can't see. And then you have something like the Forest Temple for Ocarina of Time. Well, that's another ghost-related one. But it still feels very different. Still have its own feel to it, right? Or like the Goron mines in Twilight Princess, how you could use magnetism with the iron boots to explore that. Like, each dungeon felt extremely different. So if there are 7 or however many dungeons there are in Tears of the Kingdom, maybe 9, 10, there's some theories, but I just want each one to feel unique and have its own style of puzzle that feels very different from everything else, and we have to figure out a new way to solve these puzzles each time. They do that and have a unique boss fight that isn't just some purple blob, that's like, but actually like a well-designed, well-crafted, thought-out, unique boss fight with its own theme. People will be in love with Tears of the Kingdom, and they'll say it's better than Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, the boss fights. Look, the boss fights in the Divine Beast, if you pay attention, I mean, there's as much differences between how the fights play out as any other bosses in other Zelda games, but they aesthetically look the same, and the aesthetics make it feel samey. Like when you're fighting Thunderblight versus any of the other three, it's a completely different type of fight. But unfortunately, aesthetically, it still looks like you're just kind of fighting the same guy, but he got more moves. So the aesthetics matter a lot, I think, to some people. To others, they don't. I just want the dungeons to be, if there are dungeons, again, assuming there will be. We technically had dungeons in Breath of the Wild, so there's no reason to assume we won't have dungeons. Just that they find a bigger, new, unique way to do them, or they bring some of the old, but then refresh it in a new open air style way. I don't know what that means. That's for them to figure out. Again, I keep talking about it's for them to figure out, but it really is. Like, they're the ones that are making the game. My ideas are probably bad compared to their ideas. Although Andres Restart will remind everyone, the moon is the best idea to ever exist in the history of Tears of the Kingdom theories.
How did you even think that up? Yes?
Yes, Mandy. What would look, if there's anything, if you can only see one thing out of this trailer and that's it, nothing else, what's the one thing you want to see?
I want to know if Zelda's dead or what's her.
Oh,
That's a big one.
That's a big one.
I just want to
where
know
the
she's
heck
okay.
is. I would like to know if she's playable, but now that it gets closer to the game, I really doubt it.
Watch they get to the end and the trailer ends with a Zelda headstone and fades out.
Oh my god, that's dark.
The internet on
The
fire.
internet
Oh my
would be crying.
I mean,
I'd
They
be
end with a
crying.
headstone of Zelda.
That may be the end of the internet.
That's
Here lies Princess Zelda, blah, blah, blah. Oh.
next to her dad or something. Oh my god.
They don't show her dead,
Yeah.
so maybe she's not actually dead, but they do show that people think she's dead.
Damn.
Well, the assumption is she's dead because she fell
Hell, yeah.
in that chasm.
And maybe
but
Link
also,
didn't catch
like,
her.
I don't know. Maybe this is spoilers for Skyward Sword, but I mean, Skyward Sword Zelda got sucked into a tornado and thrown to the ground, and
She was also a goddess.
Yeah, she
Just pointing
dusted
that
off.
out.
She was fine.
She didn't know at the time, but she was a goddess.
Maybe this Zelda's a goddess too.
She
just doesn't.
I mean,
know.
we don't know. We don't know.
Probably.
Maybe. No idea. Lots
Yeah,
of
maybe
theories
she
out
was
there.
taken prisoner or
There's a part of me that really hopes Link catches her and they both like fall together. But then because he's got
that's
so
cute.
much damage on his arm, like he just passes out and then she gets him up to the sky and she's like, "Okay, yeah, this guy's pretty strong. You're not going to be able to kill him." And he's like, "Okay, but hear me out on this one. I can fuse a rock with a stick.
Yes.
Look,
Yes.
I got this under control."
no, listen. I confuse a cuckoo to my shield. I'm undefeatable. You can't.
I
kill me now.
confused the
I
Master
made
Sword with
infinite
meat.
armor.
That was
It's
a very
also-
good-
Master Sword to a
Dude,
horse's
Dude, we
ass.
got meat
Yep.
swords.
Yep.
There's meat swords. It's an automatic
You
win.
can definitely
That's like the golden gun. It's the one hit kill.
you can fuse a horse to a horse.
Oh, here we go. Eric, is there something you want to see out of this trailer? I know it's going to be at a weird time for you, so you're going to probably catch it a bit later. But
God, I might just pull over if I could find a rest stop. I might just pull
He's
over
got-
because I'm
he's
gonna be
got-
driving to Milwaukee for work, and I'm pissed because it's gonna be driving while it's playing. So I may find a rest stop and just walk. It's 3 minutes.
it's 3 minutes.
It's
yeah,
3
yeah.
minutes. It's not gonna.
Look, I
know,
gotta
I got a
piss. I'll
half-
bust it
I got a
out.
half-hour window that I told them I'd be there in. And if I'm slightly late, I just apologize.
It's the Wisconsin way.
Right. I'm so sorry. No,
I'm
wait.
sorry.
Yeah. No, I know. I don't know if you popped up this super chat, but Paul and Blake Gannon, people want to know if they could pet the dogs. I mean, there is that.
I got it.
And but
Yeah,
for,
petting the
for
dogs.
me, that's been the biggest
Yeah.
one.
World
Um,
interactions.
Yeah, right. World interactions. be able to slap some NPCs, you know. No, I think it'd be interesting to kind of see what the replacement for the Koroks is. If there is something that's like a collectathon type of thing throughout
We saw a
throughout
Korok
the
in the gameplay, so we know that Koroks exist still. They weren't wiped out or anything, which is cool. And he seems to be looking for his friend or his brother or something, and that's cute. And he's on his big giant backpack that he shouldn't have, and makes me feel like there might be some side quests with him. But I don't think we're finding seeds this time. So
Mhm.
I am really curious. Like that is, okay. Pretty sure shrines are back, but what besides shrines is going to be like that thing you discover in the
one other
world?
major side quest.
Yeah, that long haul exploratory thing.
There's
What gets
so
you out
much
to explore the world?
that they could have done. Like there's so much, but like what is it actually? I'm gonna venture to guess that it's actually several new things that they have not told us. And I don't think that
Like
the
a bug catching quest or something like Twilight Princess.
that might be fun actually.
Yeah.
But I don't think the lack of information is in any way indicative of quality or content.
Yeah.
I think it's purely strategy to not spoil the game for us. They want it to be amazing. Let me point this out. And this is Pokemon Company and Game Freak, and we have much lower expectations for them than we do for Zelda, right?
I have no expectations.
leading up to the last couple generations, leading up to them, a lot of fans were like, "Oh, there's barely any new Pokemon. They've only shown 5 new Pokemon. That must mean they're only adding like 20 or something." Nope, they still add 100 plus. But it's just a new strategy that they've adopted, where they want us to be surprised when we finally get the game. Unfortunately, the games get data mined and leaked 2 weeks before they come out.
Yeah.
So. But the intent is to have us go in being completely surprised by everything they have there. And that's Pokemon Company and Game Freak. Scarlet and Violet, like I liked the game, I enjoyed it, but let's not fool ourselves. It is a mess. Like that should have been far more polished. And then meanwhile, you have Tears of the Kingdom, made by arguably the greatest development team in history. So,
oh yeah.
And also a far bigger development cycle.
I think Tears of the Kingdom is going to be crazy. I don't know how they could mess it up, but
they'll try.
It happens sometimes. I just don't. Anyways, it obviously what we've seen so far has been clearly just
also
a marketing
sequels
thing.
are harder to screw up. It's usually, if there's something that's more likely to screw up, it's something that's new, because they're trying out new technologies and ideas, and they may not have completely gotten a handle on it. But with Breath of the Wild, they figured it out. So the odds of them going into a direct sequel with the same physics in place and not being able to get something out that's at least comparable to that, I would say it's unlikely. Very unlikely.
I wonder if it's gonna live up to like Breath of the Wild.
That's tough.
Like an Ocarina.
It's such a high
versus
bar.
Majora's.
Like it's an Ocarina of Time type expectation, right? Like it's a super high bar.
It's unlikely. It's more okay. Let me say. I'll say this is my opinion, obviously, but in my opinion, right? I think it's more likely that they'll beat Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, the Tears of the Kingdom will be considered a better game by most than Breath of the Wild, than Tears of the Kingdom being a bad game. Like they have a better chance of beating Breath of the Wild than being a bad game. That said, both are unlikely scenarios. But I think Tears of the Kingdom is at least going to be comparable. At least it's going to be a fairly similar experience. And there's going to be a lot of people who may like Tears of the Kingdom more, but is it going to have a higher Metacritic score? Is it going to sell better?
I think it's that wow factor, right? People want to know.
It's going to be crazy.
Can Tears of the Kingdom wow people the way Breath of the Wild did? And that I don't know. I think some of the stuff I talked about would be like wowing people, like crazy dragon air battle. That could be pretty wowing in the trailer. Like this trailer to me, I feel like needs that wow moment. I don't know what it is because I don't know what's in this game.
Might be several wow moments.
Yeah, and if there's several, then this. I mean, let's put it this way: can this trailer be the one that goes to that 20 million views that the one for Breath of the Wild got? Can it be that viral?
They would have to do some crazy stuff, because Breath of the Wild had the advantage of being the launch title for Nintendo Switch. So
Like
that
the
change-
only launch title, really.
yeah, so
So
and that's the big problem, because Breath of the Wild kind of marks like the beginning of the Switch generation, right? Like it has that factor, new system magic, especially
Right.
coming off of the Wii U where everything kind of sucked. Like there's a huge contrast there. Things are already good now. So getting Tears of the Kingdom, even if it's a better game objectively than Breath of the Wild, it may not feel as much of a jump for us. It can't be as much of a jump. It just won't be. It's a direct sequel. So it's gonna be very hard. That said, right, like some people prefer Majora's Mask over Ocarina of Time. Majora's Mask is an amazing game, and even if it's not better for you, it's oftentimes like a 1A 1B situation, So it's gonna be
Yeah, well,
amazing.
I think I know what I want to see from this trailer. For me specifically, I want to see a preview or I guess some glimpses into what has changed in the overworld. So, I don't want too much spoiled because obviously exploration was a big part of Breath of the Wild and will be a big part of this game. But just a little something, because we've seen above, right? We have the Sky Islands, great, awesome. So excited for that. Based on footage and some of the other stuff we've seen from the art book, we can possibly conclude underground/cave portions, which is great. Some people are even going further, talking about underwater. But I want them to pique my interest on what has changed in the overworld as far as certain areas like the villages, settlements, where the Gerudo are. What is that different where it's going to make the overworld worth exploring? Or is it just going to feel like a carbon copy? I don't think it's going to feel like a carbon copy. I think there's going to be changes. But I just want a little preview of what those changes are before heading into it. Because as much as it is cool going in blind, I do just want that little taste that makes me want more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I think while as a Zelda fan, right, like I'm all in. And I see the argument made that like they don't need to show any more. You're already gonna buy the game, and that's okay. Like that's okay for a lot of
Right.
people. Like I'm already gonna buy the game, right?
Oh, me too. Me too.
But there's a lot of people out there that aren't as big of Zelda fans, aren't as diehard, and they need more convincing. Like, and I think that's also fair. Like, there's different kinds of people with different kinds of perspectives and backgrounds, and I mean, it's a standard to market your game, right? So I feel like we shouldn't be mad that Nintendo's still doing way less than most other companies, but they got to give us something that's going to showcase what this game is about. So
Yeah.
I think the trailer's going to do a good job
Yeah.
of that.
I mean, the reality is at this point, we don't know what it's about. It's just guesses. We're just piecing things together, and
Educated
theories are fun.
What?
But theories are even more fun if we actually have a direction that is
Just
like
the game
for sure.
theory.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
right now we're just kind of shooting in all these different directions, and some people are going this way, and some people are going this way, and Nintendo could be going this way, but we don't really know.
They could be going
Mm.
this way.
Welcome to
No,
Nintendo.
we've been
Yeah, like,
shooting
there's
in
people- there's
different
people that think,
directions
like,
since the beginning.
Yeah, there's people that
and
think
the
there's
more we
massive.
get, the more directions we shoot off into. And like Nate, like you were saying, that is the fun of it.
Yeah, and like it's interesting because like there's also people that still swear by there's lots of time travel in this whole thing, and we haven't seen any indications of that. But then maybe there really is indications that we're not paying attention to. It's wild right now because we haven't been given anything. What we know is there is a blood moon, at least one, and there's enemies that want to kill you, and we fly in the sky.
yeah, to some people.
See you guys
that's
on May
like,
12th.
okay.
There are some people who still swear by that theory that there's two different Links in the game,
Mhm.
because in some footage he's got long hair, and some footage he's got his
His
ponytail.
Yep.
But then I'm like, literally, like there's several headpieces you can equip in Breath of the Wild where he lets his hair down, and it looks
Yeah.
the same as it does in this game. That's all it
Basically, yeah.
is.
Like there's
I
that one
am-
Gerudo one where it's like tied up like in a knot.
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
very interested to see how his hair works, though, because from what we've seen, when he's got that green tunic on, his hair is down, but he's not wearing any headgear that would require
I
his
see.
hair to be let down. But then when you put the
I see.
champion's tunic back on, he's got his hair up. So I wonder if it's like, oh, you equip this tunic, his hair's down. It doesn't matter
So-
what helmet you're wearing.
I
He does have the tie. He could equip the tie.
Yeah.
That's
Maybe it's
true.
aesthetic.
This is so hard to talk about because there is a thing in the art book that might explain all of this. So
But there's
I'm
also a
gonna leave it
version
alone.
of the Hylian, like the hood, or the little cloak thing where he's got the hood up in Breath of the Wild, but now he's got the hood down.
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder: are they going to give us like more specific?
I think
things
we'll have
that you can
specific
do with clothing?
customizations. I think there'll be. I think we'll be able to put the hood up, hood down. I think we're going to be able to. I think there's going to be more individual items. As an example, I think boots will finally be separate from pants. Maybe we'll have gloves as an example. So I do think there'll be a lot more customization. I think one thing we've seen, at least so far, is it does appear that customization is a theme for this game. Like customizing your weapons, customizing your shields, maybe customizing your clothes, customizing your look, customizing this, customizing that. I think there's going to be a lot of customization abilities. And we had a lot in relative to prior Zelda games, we did have a lot in Breath of the Wild, but I think they're just going to that next level. Because I sort of prefaced this before. Breath of the Wild felt to me, and I think it's going to really hammer home at the end of Tears of the Kingdom. The Breath of the Wild was we're trying to prove something new. And Tears of the Kingdom is where we get to actually do all the ideas we want to do on that new. We wanted to prove we could do open world exploration on a 3D space. We wanted to prove we can get the climbing mechanics and the physics engine to work and have this all be brilliant and prove we could still do puzzles and still have a somewhat cohesive story and still this and still that. But also, it's just proof. Now that we have that, let's spend 5-6 years building something epic and awesome and amazing. I'm
Cat
ignoring
army.
the cats. I hate cats. So I hate
I'm
cats.
allergic to cats, so I can't.
My son's allergic to them, and my dad is too. Yeah.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry, she's purring
God.
into the mic.
Yeah,
It's all
just
right.
adding to the show.
They're coming in to say hi. I know. I probably just
got-
you know
she's
what?
got
I'm
an
no
opinion.
longer over 100K subscribers anymore after
Yeah, right.
saying I hate cats.
Yeah, right.
Ruby's favorite game is Metroid Dread. Just saying.
You missed a
Well, I
super chat,
I wasn't here.
and then
so.
yeah, no, I know. I just lived.
You
in
could have
Mars.
grabbed the mouse.
I could have. That's all the way over there, though.
Oh no! You have to
What a
roll like
co-host.
6 inches.
Right? I might cross into your camera.
Oh no! You can be
Um,
on 2 cameras at
Yeah,
once.
no, I know. I had the thought, and shout out to Jessica in chat, kind of for this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but was the Deku Forest gone, or that?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
It-
gone.
okay. So what if, with the Koroks and stuff, you're rebuild? Sorry, the Korok Forest, right? Yeah.
I think it's called the Korok
Yeah,
Forest.
sorry, Korok Forest. What if it's still you're collecting Korok seeds, but you're rebuilding the Korok Forest to get to the Great Deku Tree to revamp your Master Sword? That's how you rebuild your Master Sword.
Well,
Maybe.
I'll say, not to be a random parade for your theory, because I do think there is something to find the Deku Tree. Like I do think there's some journey there.
I think the
but-
tree's in the air.
Maybe, right?
Yeah.
That's like the first thought. But what's also interesting is that because a Master Sword is gone, which I think is a great point you bring up, like how do we restore it? Because that's how it was restored in Breath of the Wild. You plant it there, and then you have to rest for 100 years. But but the thing is, we have a pretty good idea already of how they restore the Master Sword. It's a theory, right? But I feel like it's a pretty good reasoning. We see Link using recall on the Master Sword in one of the pieces of footage they gave us. Like there's 7 seconds where he's on a sky island, there's this golden light, his hand is glowing. We saw at the time, we didn't know what it was, but it has the rune that we now know is for recall, which is reverses time of objects. So if he's using that on the Master Sword, what's happening? So
Bringing Phi back.
yeah.
That's all it is.
Oh, it's bringing Phi back. So maybe it's just bringing Phi back, and you still got to find.
So my whole theory
yeah,
with the Master Sword is it doesn't survive the game. So
maybe.
I mean,
which would be insane because that's another one of those items that's
Yeah.
always there. It always persists.
here's another idea though.
But
Eric, what if you're not wrong? What if we're both right? And there's
Yeah.
several things that need to be done to power up a master and reforge the master sword.
It gives you the recall gives you the temporary relief, but then like the Deku Tree would give you the actual full restore of it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there were, if you account for the DLC in Breath of the Wild, there's levels to power up the master sword. So
That too, yeah.
yeah. But
it
also,
was
yeah,
just a
what
thought.
if the master sword, what if the Deku Tree is like destroyed? That's happened before too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't know.
that Master Sword looks pretty bad.
Mhm.
I would
Yeah.
I would be shocked if, like Nate said, it survives the game. I don't think it does, because unless we're restoring it and making a brand new, like, it's not the Master Sword. I mean, it's got the Master Sword is the base, but it's something else that could work. But other than that, I mean, if you look at that mural, that's the Walmart exclusive, like pre-order, it's got an outline of the sword, and you can see how much of it actually is gone. Like, it's more than half is gone. I don't think there's any fixing that.
I mean, it's fair. Who knows? I mean, I've always thought since we saw it broken that I was like, a broken sword that maybe, like, okay, that's a theme, right? The automatic assumption is we're going to restore it because we're restoring it. Like, we've restored the Master Sword before, we restored the Triforce before, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, Breath of the Wild took things in such a drastic different direction. I'm like, well, a drastic different direction would be the sword doesn't get repaired. That's not the quest. Or maybe we start the quest trying to repair it, and the plot twist is just when we think we do, we find out we actually destroyed it for good. And that's the plot twist that leads into the second half of the game.
Damn.
But Fi is in that sword.
Unless she's
unless she escapes. Or she dies.
Maybe.
Like, we talk about death. Like, I honestly think, Breath of the Wild clearly showed they're not afraid to go with death as a theme. The champions are dead. Yeah, they were there in ghost form, but then they revisited again, and we get to see the fight that killed them. So, like, imagine that they're more willing to take away a character we maybe feel even more connected to. Like, they've almost killed major characters we feel deep connections to in the past, but really have gone short of truly going through with it. Like Zant almost killing Midna, but she didn't die. Thinking Zelda maybe sacrificed herself for Midna, but then she didn't really die. Even in Spirit Tracks, Zelda died, but she's not really dead. She's with you the whole game and then comes back at the end. So, like, we've been in this situation where I'm not saying other characters haven't died. The Great Deku Tree has died before. But we just never been
replacement.
Yeah. We just never really had a major character where we feel a connection to, a closeness to, that actually ends up dying. The champions were already dead before the game started.
What do you mean? What about the King of Red Lions?
Oh,
Nah.
That's the moment.
Nah.
That is the moment in the Wind Waker.
Nah.
He sacrifices himself.
Nah.
That's the whole emotional beat. You
Nah.
literally build a connection
Nah.
with him, and he dies.
spoilers.
Yeah, by the way, you just spoiled
Spoilers.
like the entire main story.
Rest
You
in
didn't spoil the
peace to
game.
anyone that hasn't
You didn't
played
spoil
it.
the other side of the story.
What
the
game am I
Ganon
talking
part.
about, man? We're talking about.
I don't know.
You said Wind
You
Waker.
said
No, I
Wind
didn't.
Waker.
No, you ruined it.
Oh boy.
Listen, the game came out in 2002.
Yeah, I know. No, you're
I'm just
good.
throwing that
You're
out
good.
there.
You're good. And that's a
I
good
threw it out a
example.
date before,
And that is a good example. I will say. I will also say I never felt an emotional connection to the King of Red Lions. The personal thing. I just thought he was an asshole boat that just wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Oh my god.
I realized he was the king. Spoilers.
Fair
He's the
enough.
king.
Yeah, he was kind of a dick.
But like, he was just kind of a dick the whole game that I didn't want to listen to. He was like the new Navi. Like, I just don't care. Just stop talking. Just stop talking. I don't care. When like Majora's Mask, like, oh, you're trying to find Navi. Why am I trying to find her?
I don't want her.
I don't want her. Let her go.
Dang.
Let her live her life.
Not
Damn it.
that bad.
You just hear that. You just hear that go through the cavern. Listen. Wait, what? Oh shit.
Oh, I just had to turn this game. He's like, forget this.
Yeah,
He's
right.
dissing Navi now. I'm out.
Yeah, right.
Oh, although was
gonna
it
go-
Tattle in Majora's Mask? Way better. Way better. They
I'm
fixed
gonna
Navi in the Majora's Mask.
I'm gonna go in a completely different direction for the trailer tomorrow. I think they show off something new that we can buy, because at the February Direct trailer they showed us the special edition, and then at the gameplay they
Master
showed
Edition.
us the OLED, the Pro Controller, and the case. I think tomorrow
Mhm.
I'd really love to
Have
see a short hair
mercy.
Zelda amiibo
Oh, but have
great
mercy
to
on
go
my
with
balls.
the new Link amiibo.
Short
like,
hair Zelda, we need it.
please.
I want
Also-
Toga Link amiibo.
Toga Link. There's one. Yeah.
They got a lot of missed amiibo potential here.
I want.
actually-
I want a new character Zonai amiibo.
I want a
I want that
Ganondorf
Ganondorf
amiibo.
Actually-
that corpse Ganondorf, dude. That would be
Yeah, you gotta
amazing.
have him like leaned back, sprawled out.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
this is a good opportunity to talk about how the stream tomorrow is a stream for a trailer.
Yeah, it's weird. It's not just like
Dude.
a premiere, or
Yeah.
we're just dropping it at this time.
It-
Watch
maybe-
it.
Because that's what they
it
do
is
with
a
the
premiere, I
gameplay
don't know.
trailer.
Well, here's what I think's happening. Like the actual trailer is going to be like 3-ish minutes, like it
Mhm.
said. I think it might end up being like a 5 or 10 minute thing because I think there's going to be some talking.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
some
agree.
talking bits.
I
Yeah,
agree. I think Mr. New is gonna come out on stage one more time. He's gonna say, "Hey, blah blah blah."
because like
hi."
this is it. They're gonna make. I think they're gonna make a big deal. Like, this is our final thing, and let's just talk about recap what we already know. Maybe tease some new stuff to buy.
Yeah, the
Heck,
art
maybe
book.
he even drops teases that have nothing to do with the trailer. That's later in the game that he's
Yep.
like, hey,
He may even like talk about a couple characters or something. Like
Yeah.
that's
that's not in the trailer. Hey, we can't put everything in this trailer as an example. And they're like, wait, what?
How
What did you? Huh?
Because they did a ton of amiibo for Breath of the Wild,
Mhm.
and they're not restocking all the Zelda amiibo, which makes me wonder if they're not restocking them all because they have like 2 or 3 more new ones that they'd rather you buy those than the old ones. And I'm like,
they might be
Yeah.
holding back just because the amiibo might be spoilers.
oh, that's also
Could
true.
be.
So,
Could
but
be,
after
yeah.
the trailer, they'll be
It
like, "Oh,
won't be.
well, exactly."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe they show us a rehydrated Ganon, and that's one of the amiibo.
Oh, that would be sick.
cool. Actually, just dehydrate again would be sick.
That's sick.
Oh,
Yeah.
what if they have a divine dragon as as an amiibo?
Oh, that would be cool.
Mm,
That would be cool.
That'd be pretty.
What if the Bony Zonai gets an amiibo?
Gliok. I want a
Ooh.
Gliok amiibo.
It'd be fun.
Maybe
what
they
about-
give
That would
us.
be pretty cool. That would be pretty
I
cool.
think a
That-
Zelda is more.
Yeah, like a short hair Zelda. I'd be really strange if we didn't get short hair Zelda.
Unless she's,
That'd be
I mean, if
weird.
she's dead.
Well,
then
if she dies early in the game,
Tombstone.
Yeah,
Zelda.
even if she dies, they still want that money.
no, just a tombstone. Just a
Oh,
tombstone.
she's dead, but
Just
buy
that
the
too.
amiibo.
every time you tap the tombstone in the game, someone dies. Wait, what? Wait, what? The
Epic.
Tears of the Kingdom. Oh, Princess Zelda. Tap.
Yeah.
You buy this short hair Zelda amiibo and you scan it next to her gravestone, she'll actually pop up as a ghost and say,
Like
Link, I don't
Fi.
think
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can
Bring
do
her
this.
back.
And
Yeah, I
then
don't
she'll
think you can do this.
disappear.
That's where it comes from. It's an amiibo only exclusive
And you can only
line.
do it once a day.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you
Just
can do
for
it
the
once
record.
a
Anything,
Well,
just
once
make-
a day, she
crap.
could pop out and tell you suck and you're gonna die.
I mean, it wouldn't be the
That's
first
so
time Zelda's
dark.
been a ghost. Shout out to Spirit Tracks. What's up for
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's
go.
also
Where's
why
God?
I definitely don't think they're going to do it again.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Just for the record, I don't think she dies.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
I don't think
I don't
most
either.
think logically she's probably gonna die, but I think I think there's a lot of people that would are trying to prepare themselves for the possibility, because if they did it, it would fall in line with the whole we're changing the way we do Zelda, and having Zelda actually die would just be a very dramatic thing. Especially if she's not there the whole time as a ghost and stuff like that, like they did in Spirit Tracks.
My problem
They
is
built
that
up her character too much to just drop it.
But
Right.
that's what
They
makes it
even
such a
have concept
that's what
art.
makes some of the best games in the world build up the character to kill them. That's
Right.
a
Right.
huge plot
but,
point.
but build her up more and kill her at the end, then not at the beginning.
Or if you really
Shout out
want to
to Darth
pull on
Vader.
people's heartstrings,
unless the death of her is the motivation Link needs to get past that doubt that he can't do it.
What
Or
if she dies at
maybe-
the end?
Like
at the
Ganondorf
very
makes
end?
the mistake of killing the one thing that would give Link the extra motivation that he needed. Like I know that if someone kills my fiance, I'm going nuts. I'm taking
I'm
them I'm taking them down.
Listen, I'm sure,
I don't
but
like-
the thing is, you talk. Link doesn't.
Link does no, that's a lie. Link does talk.
That
He
is
inter-
actually
that's
one of
actually
my-
completely lie. He is not a mute. Just because you don't hear him, the characters hear him. He actually physically talks to the characters in the game. I
That
did
is
a
one
whole
of my-
editorial on this like 20 years ago.
Listen,
I remember
listen.
this editorial.
Listen. It's not. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. But but in terms of storytelling, he doesn't talk. So
That's
like
no,
like,
that's he does. Ugh.
no.
It's
no,
a trope
you
to
are
make us feel like we're him.
you are misunderstanding me.
Ugh.
You are misunderstanding me.
Okay, I'll let you
I
finish.
know he talks. I know they give him a whole backstory as to why we don't hear him talk in Breath of the Wild. Like I totally get that.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is that if you have this idea that they want to kind of show this emotional character growth of Link and trying to triumph over a loss of a loved one, if he doesn't have any voice acting in it in a game with voice acting,
It's
and
because
then
we're
go off-
Link. It's our emotional journey. That's what you don't understand. The whole reason Link doesn't talk is because we're supposed to connect with him. We're supposed to be him. That's literally said in multiple interviews. He doesn't talk. It's literally a video game designed to make us feel like we are speaking for him. So the
That-
emotional journeys are emotional.
First of all, I
journey.
totally understand that, but you also
Yeah.
have to understand they used to let you pick your own name. They've since changed that.
Sure.
Yeah, I feel
Now
like if they're
it's
not going to
just
let you
Link.
pick your name, you should flesh him out into an
Sure,
actual
yeah.
more.
Sure. I'm not
Yeah,
saying that
like
they
that.
shouldn't do that, but even if they don't, I'm sorry, they kill Zelda. I'm crying. It's an emotional journey for me.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm
It'll
the
be
one
more
I'm the one
emotional
doing all the work.
though.
Link
It'll be-
woke up one day and then I did all the work.
It'll be an emotional
I
journey
think
if we actually have a game where it's a journey with her and then she dies, but she's not dying. So
Yeah,
If they
she's-
really want to tug at your heartstrings, what they'll do
kill
is
the dog.
Well, yeah, that's awfully dark.
Whoa, that's a step too far now.
Yeah.
But
And then, don't touch the dog, you
Don't
monster.
touch it on. Touch Zelda.
that
wait.
line where she's like, I don't think you can do this is actually while they're underground before she dies. And then when they get separated, Link thinks she dies. And he, and by proxy, you as the player, spend most of the game thinking she's dead, only for
Spend
her to
most of the
come
game
back
just being a
later
sad alcoholic.
and be like, oh, she's
Jeez.
actually alive.
That could go.
That's kind of like they did in Breath of the Wild.
Well, no, we knew she was alive. She talks to you at the very beginning.
Yeah,
You're a
but it's
little
more like a
worried that she might
spirit.
be.
You worry she might die if you don't get to her.
Like
in time.
die, like
So what was cool about Breath of the Wild, now that I think about it, we didn't know if she would come back young. Like we were thinking,
Yeah, yeah.
she's like,
Thought
she
she'd
might,
be like Impa.
yeah,
The Impa
like,
thing, yeah.
like, oh, like, what's
Ancient
going
ancient
on?
Zelda.
But she doesn't sound old. But
And then,
she's
then I
been-
kept thinking, hey, is this gonna be like Ocarina of Time? Do we send her back in time so she gets to have her childhood like Zelda did? To
They
me?
don't really explain how she stays young.
the
Like,
power of the Triforce.
yeah, I mean, you could just chalk it up to that, and that's
That's what a
pretty
lot
much
of people
what
chalk
is.
it up to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just goddess power. She was
sometime
yeah.
more. Wait.
she was in
I'm
a
serious.
different state of being.
Yeah.
She wasn't in a normal state of being. Like that. I mean, I basically attribute it to like some sort of like she's actively fighting against Ganon, but also not actively mortal during these 100 years or something. It's a weird form of stasis,
Yeah.
yet not.
I would just go. She puts her hand up, it glows. To me, that's Triforce, and that's what keeps her young. And she's
Problem
literally
solved.
the Triforce is just glowing the whole time.
Yeah, and maybe she does die, but the point of choosing the
Oh.
kingdom is to get the Triforce, and maybe that fixes it. Although I'm not a fan of wishing people back to life. That's kind of feel like a bad story thing.
Yeah, it's weird that
Dragon
that
Ball.
was. I mean, I understood why
Yeah,
they made like
we
if
don't
you
watch
have the
Dragon
full
Ball for the
Triforce,
story.
you get a wish. Yeah, I get it. Well, would it be interesting though? I would like this. This is where they actually start letting the game have a lot more player choice in the story. Would be if there is like a multiple ending sort of thing where we do get a wish, and we get like 1, 2, or 3 choices. One of them is to bring her back. One of them is to restore Hyrule. And another is like something else. I don't even know. Something that happens in the game that you can reverse if you want. It would be interesting if they gave us, which by the way, it's like a Mass Effect thing. They're totally not going to do that in this game. But it would be interesting if we do get a wish, but then we get to choose one of 3 options of what that wish is, and it changes the end. Again, they're not going to do it. This is totally not. I don't even think this would even cross the Zelda people's mind because that's a totally different type of game. that
If
lets you do
Zelda's
that.
happened like every 2 to 3 years, maybe they could do a thing like how with Splatoon, how the final Splatfest dictates what the next game's going to be.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
some user interaction that determines
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
would
think
be
it'd be
neat. but
cool if there was a quick time
I mean,
event.
Taker
when she's
610 has
crawling.
as an obvious one here where he did the $2 super chat. He said she reverts to Hylia. Let's be honest. And that's a popular theory. It's a popular theory.
She becomes a
Technically, we have
god.
not known of
Okay.
any Zelda to be Hylia but the Skyward Sword one. But just because we don't know doesn't mean it hasn't happened.
That would be
Hey, if-
another parallel on Tears of the Kingdom's little checklist of parallels
Skyward
to
Sword.
Skyward Sword.
Ho, ho, ho.
It's a cycle.
First game in the timeline, and the last game in the
Zonai
timeline.
happened to use a lot of technology.
Oh.
We had a time period that was referenced in Skyward Sword to a realm of lots of technology.
Yeah, and
Just keep checking boxes.
There's all these goddess statues in Breath of the Wild.
Yep. And when do we start seeing goddess statues? Skyward Sword. Check the
Right.
box.
But it also suggests that there would still be sky islands in the world, and well, there are sky islands in the world.
Yeah.
Going back to
In
the
the
sky.
end, yeah.
But it goes back to the idea that they knew where they were headed while making Breath of the Wild.
Imagine if Breath of the Wild was like the first one, and then it goes to Skyward Sword.
You know what we're not talking about? Link actually dies.
You mean like-
and we're
like
not
a-
the same Link in this game. We are, so they time traveled to
Everybody
grab a
dies.
Link from the past
Hmm.
to come back and save the world. Because she
That's a
says,
lot of
I don't think
work.
you can do it this time. And then the plot twist is you actually die. And you're like, that's it? Game
I
over?
feel like
Then
getting
all of a sudden,
barbecued arm is close enough.
whoa,
Yeah, I
he's
think
fine.
his arm
Hey, we
getting
gotta bring
wrecked
it-
is
Yeah. Yeah.
the shift.
Is the shift, yeah. I don't think the arm getting wrecked is the shift. I think it happens right at the beginning of the game. That's not a shift. That's not a plot
Oh
twist.
no, I 100% agree.
Yeah, that's the beginning of the game.
Well,
I'd
I mean, the
also
plot
like to
twist is
point
probably
out-
someone dies. Someone makes a sacrifice at the end, maybe. But
Yeah, do we so when I say plot twist, it's usually a mid-game thing. Like mid-story wise. Obviously the game, it's open world, you have infinite gameplay, but
Breath of the Wild doesn't have that though. So this
well, Breath
Tears
of the
Kingdom
Wild
have
doesn't
one?
people argue Breath of the Wild doesn't have a story. So how can there be a plot twist? I think that's not a good take, but I also agree the way the story was told in Breath of the Wild didn't really open it for a plot twist. It was go beat the bad guy, everything else is memory recovery.
It had a story. It just took place 100 years before the game started.
Yeah. So it's like I actually like the story in Breath of the Wild, but the way they chose to tell it didn't really open it for a potential plot twist.
Yeah.
A traditional
I-
Zelda story does open up for plot twists because the story's happening as you're progressing.
And I mean, the reason they did that is because they wanted to give us more reason to explore.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And the way they tell the story, it does help to support open world exploration, but it
Yep.
also ruins the story a little bit. But at first, when I first played Breath of the Wild, I kind of looked at it kind of like a Tarantino kind of like decision,
Yeah.
which is cool, right? Like some of the best movies, things happen out of order. Not everyone likes that, right?
No, I knew everyone wasn't
yeah.
going to like it. I really enjoyed it,
Yeah.
especially the first time through. I liked it a lot.
Pulp
And-
Fiction is one of my favorite movies, and the
Oh,
beginning, the ending of the story happens in the beginning, which is
Yeah.
epic.
And like when you and what I liked about the story of Breath of the Wild was after you recover all the memories, it starts to make like when you're exploring and reading notebooks and diaries, and it just starts to just really blow things up even more. It's just all of that is the player has to find it. The player, and I still think there's going to be a level of the player has to find it. I also think we're going to kind of be, I think in Tears of the Kingdom, we're going to kind of know the direction we're supposed to go. Like, you remember Breath of the Wild, they sort of guide you to go to Kakariko Village. You don't have to go, but they guide you to sort of go there. They mark it on your map, go there. I think that's going to be kind of like in this game where the next story point, we're always going to kind of know sort of where to go. And there could be a whole journey to get there. But
like
I do
Elden
think,
Ring with the sites of grace. That have the
yes,
little
yes, that's what
trail
I was
that point
kind of
you.
thinking. I was Elden Ring, how they did
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I could also see it kind of like Xenoblade, how Xenoblade does something like that, where they're like, okay, we'll guide you to your next story point. But if you want to fill out the map for this entire area
Yeah,
to
yeah.
grind and kill enemies for an hour, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, I think it'll be linear story wise in that it's going to be like going point to point to point to point. But there's just so much to do in between. And obviously, you don't have to do it. The curious thing will be if there's multiple story points, can you go out of order and stuff like that? That's the one thing people want to know is like, hey, if there's dungeons, can we do it in any order we want? Can we do this? Like, oh, of course we can. It's open world. But then well, the story is usually tied to dungeons sometimes. Well, maybe the story's not tied to dungeons this time, but there's still a very significant reason we need to go to the dungeons. And what that is, we don't know. Like, that's the thing, we just don't know because we literally know nothing. We know nothing when it comes to any plot for this game. It's just theories based on an old game and a trailer, and then looking
I
at
feel like
other
we're gonna
Zelda
be having
games,
very
you know?
different conversations after tomorrow.
next week. Next week,
Yeah,
next
next
podcast, it's gonna be like
We're gonna
we
be
were
like, all right, well,
wrong.
this was wrong.
We
this
were
was
all
wrong.
wrong.
This was wrong.
We were idiots.
Yeah.
How did we not think of that?
What
God
is
dang it.
wrong with us? And then after
No
the game comes out, we're
tombstone.
gonna be like, actually, now that we have the full game, Andres was right. We do go to the moon.
Oh my god.
So I worked all night on that theory video. It was gonna take me to work. I was gonna have to work on it all day to finish it. But then, so I actually slept in a
Then
little
the
bit.
news dropped.
And the thing is, I knew there was a chance that something might happen, but it was kind of like how we talked about last night. How like signs are suggesting that it's not happening, but Nintendo did what they do and decided to shift the pattern. Like, actually, we made you think we weren't doing something, and we are. Take that. But so because of that, I wasn't like paying attention like at 9 a.m. I was just like, oh, this.
I pay
happened.
attention 9 a.m. every day because I never know what Nintendo's doing.
Yeah, it's
Besides
smart.
Fridays. Fridays I don't. But anytime it's Monday through Thursday, I just, you know what they've done. Oh, hey, we're having a direct mini later today. See ya. What, later today? What? Like, so I just at Monday through Thursday, I'm a 9 a.m. tweet. I always double check because that's usually when they drop it. Whatever.
This
it's gonna be.
announcement totally caught me off guard because I was like, oh, maybe we're getting a Zelda Direct this week. And I was looking on Monday and Tuesday and I was like, okay, we got nothing. So I was like, well, I guess we're not getting anything this week. And then I was just minding my own business. And at 10 o'clock, or well, 9 o'clock Central Time, because that's my time zone, but like an hour later than they usually tweet, they're like, oh, by the way, you're getting a 3-minute, Tears of the Kingdom trailer tomorrow. Okay, bye. And I'm like, whoa.
And it's
Where did
live
that
stream.
come
I
from?
hate
Which is
how
awesome.
they do that. I have my schedule already, and then boom, boom. I'm like, oh, I can't keep up with this.
Yeah.
That's
See
why
what
I don't do news.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, man. It's a little different for me because I'm a full-time YouTuber. So for me, it's kind of like, hey, thanks for filling my schedule tomorrow.
Mhm.
Like, okay, cool. I'm live streaming at 7:30 in the morning. We got we got
Yeah.
the thing at 9, and then I'm gonna react. We're gonna have some fun to it. And then immediately when I get done, we're probably making a video about the damn trailer. So like, I thank you for giving my content tomorrow. It's awesome.
Yeah, and the news is cool. Like, it's also for me, like that Moon video. I have no idea when that's coming out.
And
It
because
makes-
now you're like, do I drop it now when I might get more information tomorrow that might confirm it tonight?
I would
I
leave
mean,
it for after.
No, I gotta prioritize the immediate news.
Well,
right?
no
So,
doubt, because this is
yeah.
big. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
big.
Yeah,
Final
exactly.
trailer. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I mean, depending, it really just comes down to what we see tomorrow, right? Like,
Who knows? We'll
Mhm.
see. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
plus
this is
trailer
gonna be
analysis.
what-
That's usually the big thing day one is that trailer analysis.
oh yeah,
getting
that,
up.
that's coming.
and it's a
that's
big,
coming.
and this is a long trailer, so a
Yeah,
lot to examine. I'm sure.
I mean, I was
It's
able
gonna
to
be what we're
do. I
talking
was able
about
to.
for the next month. You know what I mean? We have a month until release, and if this is the final trailer, this is gonna be. We're gonna be pouring over every little detail until launch day or until the game leaks a week before then.
for the best super chat of the night, Justin Basil $5. The blood moon is fake. Flat Hyrule confirmed.
I mean, if
knew
you
it.
look at the map is pretty flat.
there
So,
you go. Yeah.
whoa.
It's the
Yeah,
firmament.
I'm not seeing a lot of cresting when I'm looking out on the horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So I don't. Have you guys realized that the mini map shows a negative number for
Yes.
the y axis?
Yes.
Which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going
and
back to
what's
my
inter-
days of playing Minecraft, where I got to pay attention to the
Yeah.
coordinates.
Gotta
Yeah.
mine diamonds at Y12.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was-
Hey, it's gonna make making guides for the game a lot easier. That's for sure.
Yeah, you can be like, oh, so the chest with the flaming sword with 85 power is at X
Ding ding
coordinate
ding ding ding.
negative
Yeah.
300, Y
Mhm.
coordinate 256, Z coordinate negative 2152. Like, and there you go.
Yeah.
Which,
something like
by
that.
the way, would probably be like in some sort of like deep mantle of the earth.
Probably. All right. So just to kind of wrap this topic up, what do you guys think is the next marketing move for this game after the trailer?
Nothing.
Do you think it's just out to the media coverage and we're done to launch?
They just go
Straight
radio
to
silent.
release date.
I mean, we're gonna get tweets about pieces, little
Well,
pieces.
Well, all their
tweets.
tweets have just been clips of stuff they
screenshots.
already shown.
Right.
Here's recall. Here's a send.
I mean, there'll be maybe
here's
some new official
fuse.
art will drop tomorrow on the
Yeah.
Zelda Twitter. They usually do that.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah.
I think we'll get some
Or a
screenshots
screenshot
here
pack.
and there. Some
Screenshot
little,
pack.
little bits. Yeah.
Or they, I mean, when are they going to come out with the art book? And
Well, the art book comes with the
Does it come
collector's
with the-
edition.
oh, comes with the collector's edition.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it's not a
No.
to buy thing. Okay.
No, which people are mad about.
Yeah,
but-
kind
Well, the art book came out weeks ago, but
Well, yeah, I mean, you're not
I
wrong.
mean,
You're not wrong.
end of
You're not wrong.
February.
You're not wrong.
Or-
But
If we get a Masters edition tomorrow, I'm gonna lose it because I have
Yeah.
no money left. I'm broke. I got
Let
nothing.
me
Wait, a
let me ask.
master-
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna buy it if
What?
it comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, let's talk about that
That's
for a
bad.
moment. Like, I have a hard time believing they would do that because they already announced the collector's edition. So how about the people who bought the collector's edition and then they have like this better edition? First off, I would love an opportunity to get that version because the collector's edition to me wasn't like didn't feel worth the
Mind-blowing?
effort. Yeah, it didn't feel worth the effort to me. But if there's like a statue, I'm in. I'm like I'm
But
there.
then
Uh,
am I stuck with 2 copies of the game? Like, does the Masters edition also come with a copy of the game? Because then I'm stuck with 2 copies. of the
It'll
game.
come with the game. Here's the thing. And I've had some information on it. I don't want to dive too deep into it right now, but it is a thing that exists. By the way, if you are mad about that, there's actually a 3rd exclusive edition to Nintendo New York coming as well.
Of course.
So-
there is. Of course.
what?
So like, yeah. And you can only
Might
get
have
that
to
one
make
in
the trip.
person. Yeah, you can't pre-order it though. You have to be in person, first come, first serve.
might have to make the trip.
Ah,
Anyways,
I'll
I-
grab one to do a Nintendo Prime giveaway with.
oh, there. I
I'm gonna
mean,
try
that
to
would
go
blow up because
person.
no
Yeah,
one's
what-
going to be able to get their hands
Yeah.
on that. It's going to be,
I'll get it. I'll get my
you know,
hands on it.
assuming that there is one and it gets announced, you know, I don't know that it's that upsetting because like what makes these things so fun to get is for at least for me as a Zelda fan is that it's limited. Like it being limited makes it collectible, makes me want it.
Mhm.
So like the collector's edition isn't less collectible because now there's an even scarcer, more souped up version. It's just gonna make me want both. Like Breath of the Wild, I wanted both. I'm still mad to this day I do not have the statue edition. But I still bought the other one.
I'm so mad about that too. So for me, what happened was I was getting all my pre-orders at GameStop because the thing is, it's hard to beat the internet. The
They're
internet's so
very hard.
fast, right? But if you live in a town where you ask the clerk, "Oh, have you heard of Breath of the what?" Right? Like you could just it's easier to go to a store and be like, "Hey, I would like this. It's in your computer. Could you pre-order that for me, please?" Right?
Yeah.
Like that's more feasible. So that's what I did, and I wanted the Master Edition, and they're like, "Oh yeah," I was like, "Are you sure you have the Master Edition? Because I heard they might not have it available in stores." Like, "Oh no, here's the Master Edition." I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because there's 2 different editions. There's this, I forget what the other edition was called, like the Legend Edition or something. And I told them by name several times. He's like, "Oh no, yep, Master Edition." Wasn't a Master Edition, so I never got my Master
Oof.
Sword statue. Yeah,
And
but
that's
because
why
he was
I
so
dropped all my
so
GameStop
convinced.
pre-orders.
special and
Yeah.
master.
There you go.
Looks like-
Yeah. They had the special edition, which I got, and I thankfully still have my Sheikah Slate Switch
Yeah,
case.
yeah, and it came with a coin and so like
Yeah.
it's fine. Yeah,
that one was
Eric's
good.
still rocking his right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I gotta fix my zipper though, because I've used that. Like I should be a collector's item, but I've just used it as my Switch case all this
I
time.
just wish there was a little bit more room in there for the power cord.
Well, I
It's-
mean, I try
it's
to
a tight
remember this
squeeze.
was a launch item with Switch.
Yeah,
I'm not sure they were thinking of everything at the time.
no, but then again, the Tears of the Kingdom one looks like it's not like any different.
It's a slim case. It's actually it looks like it's slimmer than that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which sucks.
Yeah.
Because people like slim cases. I mean, they just do. They just grab their Switch. They don't bring anything else with usually, or they just have a USB-C card charger in their car and they just don't care that Nintendo's little weird power limits.
Or
Could break
We're
it.
rocking this bad boy.
Well, not
Remember this?
anymore.
Oh, that's a good one.
used to brick it.
That's a good one.
that one looks
It's
nice.
Use this
It looks
since
deep too.
launch.
Can I see it? Can you show the profile view?
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah,
and
that's
Nintendo fixed the power bricking issue
that's
with
deep.
one of their firmware updates.
Nice.
So,
very nice.
but cool. All right.
I'm always upset when Switch cases don't have the handle, though. I think a handle matters.
Yeah, the
me
handle is
too.
The
nice.
handle.
I
was the
haven't-
only one.
I haven't had a traditional Switch case in like 2 years because I have a Satisfy grip that I take everywhere with me when I'm using it in handheld. So
Look,
have
I
that
don't
carried.
travel. My Switch just sits here next to me. I don't go anywhere. So, all right. Let's get to our next topic, which has like multifaceted stuff in it. It's basically what's next for Nintendo. Because there's a number of things going on. Obviously, we'll get to the game lineup at some point here, but like the first thing I put on here is like theme park wise. Like we already know Donkey Kong's announced and everything, but there was this weird little piece of news that popped up. That Universal in Orlando is taking down the Lost Continent area, and there's some rumblings that this might become the new Zelda area, and it would be separate from the current Nintendo world, but Universal's done this before. Like they've split up the Harry Potter thing to 4 different areas, so it wouldn't be impossible for Zelda to be separate, and the Lost Continent is pretty big.
Can they still find a way to connect it?
I
that
don't
would be
think so because it's an island.
Mm.
But
But
how legitimate are these rumblings you speak of? Like, what,
they
what's
come
the
from
source?
places on the internet that have a good track record of rumors over theme parks.
Okay.
I hope
But
like
it's just
me
rumblings
get
right now. We don't
something
have any
out.
drawings or confirmations. But
I need something out in Florida because when I heard that it was going to be in California, not in the Universal in Florida, I got so sad. I was like, oh.
It's still
Well,
coming.
yeah, there's one
It-
opening there. I think it's
Yeah,
next year.
It's under construction.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
they're building
really?
it. Yeah, Nintendo World's being built there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it opens next year. If I remember right.
Oh. Okay,
Yep.
gotta save up.
Yeah,
for it.
unfortunately, it's like the last of them, but it does sound like each of them, when they expand, might not do the same expansion. Like one might do DK, one might do Zelda, one might do
No,
this.
no.
That does.
No.
that
Yo,
does
that
agree
would be
with
the
bill.
ultimate play.
Yeah.
That would
You
be
don't
the-
think they don't? You don't think they
Ooh.
want that money if you travel in the world?
I'll pay extra money for the ticket. I want everything in one place. I want
Yeah,
a full.
I know, and they
cohesive
want you to buy
adventure.
tickets for multiple
No.
places.
Yes,
Disagree.
they do.
Disagree.
You
I
don't
I'd
think
think?
say
they
that
want
the-
you to
listen.
pre-order the special edition, and then they
Same
announce the
reason they want
master
us to pay
edition, and
$70
you get that
bucks.
one too.
That's a bad.
And then
move.
after they
I-
announce the
Nintendo
master
a business.
edition,
They want your money. That's all they want.
day of,
Yeah,
they
but
say
that's
there's
a-
a super deluxe Zonai edition that includes an
Yeah.
actual physical hand.
Oh, just wait. 6 months from now, there'll be a new special Walmart exclusive figurine
Right.
edition.
Right, alongside the graphics enhancement patch, alongside
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Switch 2.
And that one costs $300 for that one for some reason.
Well,
Ye-
my wallet will be replenished by then, so that's okay.
You know what's
Anyways.
funny? You know what's funny? I just want to kind of make this random point. You know, right now we're kind of like talking about, oh, they might announce another collector's edition, which doesn't seem fair. But then like people get pushback for Switch 2 coming 6 months later. But like they just announced a Tears of the Kingdom OLED, which is a very different situation. But you'll see more pushback for that.
More pushback for what?
You'll see more pushback for a Switch 2 coming out 6 months after Tears of the Kingdom OLED, as opposed to a month later them announcing another collector's edition.
Well,
Tears of the
one, because
Kingdom.
one's a new generation.
Yeah.
And you're selling a lot more of the Tears of the Kingdom OLEDs than you are the collectors because there's just not as many. Like the collector's edition, a lot of people know it's limited. I mean, we don't know how limited, but based on Breath of the Wild, less than 10,000. Like it's a very limited thing, so it's only a very limited amount of people are going to care.
That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I'm still skeptical about it though. I wonder if maybe there's a statue, but not like it's separate from the game release.
We also know First Four Figures has a new statue in the works for Tears of the Kingdom too. So
I look
I will
forward to
buy that.
yeah, First Four
Yeah.
Figures makes great stuff.
That is
So,
the
yeah.
only reason I haven't bought the Breath of the Wild, any of the Breath of the Wild, like especially for Link and Zelda, because I knew
yeah.
they're gonna put out a new Link one.
So we clearly don't want to talk about the theme park. So moving on. Pikmin 4.
Yeah, we don't.
Pikmin 4.
Yay.
We don't care
Let's
about
get the
this one
pick-
either. Next.
Let's get the pick. Hey now, Darren,
All
I'll
right.
put you on timeout. You just say Pikmin 4 don't matter. Come on. Look, over the last week we had a potential leak for Pikmin 4. Couple screenshots, some character name reveals. Won't go too much into it. Just named after dogs, which makes sense in some regards. Pikmin has a history of like a theme for how they name their characters. But obviously, it described night mode. Again, I don't want to spoil it too much, just in case it is what night mode is, because right now night mode is the thing that has a lot of people excited. A lot of Pikmin fans excited. It seems to be based on a Pikmin 3 thing, and only one character is playable single player. The rest are playable at night. What's interesting to me is that this is the next game. This is what's after Tears. Like people go, hey, what's after Tears of the Kingdom? Pikmin 4. Like, what are we thinking right now?
I think we see some Xenoblade DLC in June.
I agree. I agree.
Dang, good
So we're
gloss
just
over
skip.
it.
We're gonna skip and Pikmin. Screw you. Xenoblade
Well,
DLC.
we're not skipping Pikmin because Xenoblade comes out in June. It's
Yeah, you
even
said
more-
what's next?
I meant game release wise, like not DLC.
But
Well,
it's,
I mean,
referring to
but it could have a physical release, so that technically
Right,
counts as a
it's-
game release,
it,
and
I
that's
mean,
next.
Tour of the Golden
Okay.
Country is longer than a
Pikmin
Pokemon game.
disrespect,
Just saying.
okay.
So
and neither would
The
exist without the.
disrespect.
Anyways, we're just letting it go.
Oh, this is
We're just
fantastic.
gonna
No,
let it
what-
go. It was
wait for
announced
the-
as DLC, so I'm gonna leave it at that.
Wave 4 is a big deal.
But
Chad
wave
is
4
not
of
happy
what?
about this Pikmin
Wave 4 of
discussion.
what?
Yeah.
What's
Xenoblade
wave 4
I
of?
mean,
Chronicles
Wave 4 is
It's-
already implicitly DLC, sure.
It's
but
story
There you go.
DLC.
There we go. See, it's
But
DLC.
it
I
may
was
be
talking
a-
about new games. I understand that people are excited for DLC. I
New
get it.
games. All right, I'll throw a new game out there. New 2D Mario. I know everybody's kind of like on the whole like new 3D Mario, but I'm gonna go new 2D Mario because we haven't technically gotten a new 2D Mario since 2013 when the Wii U
Yeah.
launched. I know there's Mario Maker, there's 2 of those, but those are kind of like I want a new Super Mario Bros. Game is what I'm
I want a
referring to.
3D Mario.
Kind of makes sense
Like
too.
Odyssey.
They both make sense.
Almost 6 years Odyssey came out.
Yeah, we're like due for both. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Give me
So-
a new Super Mario Bros. Game and
Yeah.
put in Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, and Donkey Kong to have
mean,
that
what
like
if the
tie-in with the
Peaches
Did
is
they
the
movie.
theme
make,
song.
Did they make a new Mario game
Peaches,
kinda
Peaches.
Might win an Oscar.
piggybacking off
Yeah.
of the movie marketing?
They
You know
kind of
what I
have
mean?
to. I wanna-
Look. If I'll say this, let's say there isn't a new one this year, but it's next year, and Peaches wins an Oscar, it's got to be the theme song of the new game.
That's a timeline.
It's funny that was a story trending today, guys. That technically it was just a technicality, but yes, technically Peaches is eligible. Doesn't mean it'll be nominated, but eligible for best original song
It should be at
Yeah.
least
at the
nominated.
Oscars.
I have a coworker today that knows I'm a Nintendo fan. He goes, "You see that new Mario movie?" I was like, "Yeah, did you see?" He goes, "No, but I saw on YouTube that this like Peaches song is like blowing up." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, I
It's
listened to it.
trending
It
on
fucking
YouTube
sucked."
right now.
Oh,
They have the full they have the full version of the song trending on YouTube.
He's
right
like,
now.
"Yeah, dude, I listened to it. That thing was stupid. How was the movie?"
No, it makes no sense without the movie.
It's
It's a-
right. You need
but
the
it's-
context, the satire, and
it's
all
a,
that.
it's a
but-
joke.
Yeah, it's what. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Friday song.
But if it
Right.
wins, I'm gonna laugh. I'm just gonna
It's
laugh.
not going to. but
Might
it'd
be the
hilarious. I wish
only
it
thing
does.
that I'll look at the Oscars and go, "Hey, you got my attention for a moment."
You
Thank
know what? But I will say that if it did win, it would be because they felt the critics felt there would be some sort of political move because of
Yeah,
how
it would be
critics
like the
felt.
critics are full of shit.
I mean,
Right,
Jack
it's like-
Black's got some pipes on him, so whatever.
Well, I mean, no one
Yeah.
doubts he's a singer. Everyone knows
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a singer. Yeah.
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 I want to
Um,
talk about Pikmin 4, but you and I talked about it yesterday, so it's kind of like
Well, but that
Yeah.
was not in
That was
context
good.
of like of this. That was the celebration stream. So like, what do you want to bring up about Pikmin 4? Like, we have other people here. Maybe they want to chime in too. I know Mandy was really
Yeah.
excited. The moment I mentioned Pikmin 4, she almost jumped out of her chair.
did you?
I mean, I have
Why-
nothing to say. I'm excited for it. but-
Yeah. Right now, I think people are sleeping on Pikmin 4 because it's getting drowned by Tears of the
Well,
Kingdom.
I mean, that's gonna be
There-
the case.
you got the
until July.
diehard Pikmin fans, but unfortunately, the diehard Pikmin fans are rare. So
Arlo. Don't sleep on
Mm.
Arlo. He's out there pushing.
yep.
He's like the only one. But he's out there.
Arlo is rare though. He's just famous. So
Yeah, well, I mean, there's only one.
Exactly. He's unique. But I think once Tears of the Kingdom comes out, I mean, people are still talking about that game for a while, but like go by the time July comes around, I think Pikmin 4 is going to have an opportunity to be like, hey, this is a game. You know, it's actually a good game. People should play it and talk about it.
It's gonna be a good summer game.
Yeah. That game is visually impressive. I mean, you could make the argument that it's more impressive than Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, I mean, it dances that fine line, like where the characters in the Pikmin aren't really usually that detailed, but they really detail the world like
Right.
crazy.
The thing is also a lot of them on screen at once. Yeah. And even close up, they're not like super detailed and gritty, but they're clean. They're like,
they don't lose any detail zooming in.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like they look good, just simple. But something I've noticed, there may be a graphics analysis coming in the not so distant future. I might wait till close to Pikmin 4 after the previous Pikmin video just flopped hard, but there's nothing that can be done, but it'll come. But anyway, like I've noticed, like the lighting in Pikmin 4 is like it's pretty good. Like if you compare it to what we saw in Pikmin 3, the shadows are pronounced. Just how the light bounces off, especially kind of like you have a better view of the background than how like the sun is kind of hitting everything. It's a good looking game.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, Pikmin's always been a pretty good looker. There's always had a great lighting engine, and they definitely use a lot of photorealism and real life capture to really bring the game to life. So it's going to be impressive, especially for a Switch game. I always put that caveat in there because I'm sure there's other photorealistic games on other platforms that I just don't play. So I'm sure they exist.
I want to point something else out. It like the fact that this has not been mentioned yet is exemplary of the situation. So Jazz McGee says in the chat, I think people are sleeping on Advance Wars.
And
we haven't even talked about Advance Wars.
Week.
We haven't even talked about it. Like we're just like, oh, look, you just remembered. Like,
but here's the thing. I don't consider it sleeping when it's just old games coming back. It never excited me in the first place back when it was supposed to release April of last year. Still doesn't excite me now. They added nothing new. They just made it look prettier. It'd be different if they were here's a whole new campaign. Here's a whole new but they didn't. We already know because the game leaked. There's nothing in it. I'm not excited.
They had a lot of quality of life updates, and there is like there's online play. Like that's all revamped. That's not things you could do.
And you know how many games like Advance Wars have come out since then that are better than these games? There's been a lot. They started it, but then they didn't keep improving upon it, and we've had a lot better ones come out since. My personal opinion. This is it's one of my favorite genres of games. Advance Wars 1+2 is just not as good as a lot of the other ones that have come out since. Back in the day, amazing. Today, they're good. They're solid. I'm not that excited.
All right.
And this is one of my favorite genres.
Sure.
I literally grew up playing these games.
Nate, I'm going to say this. I'm going to abstain from this conversation. I know where this is going.
Us disagreeing.
I'm just going to say this. Advance Wars is amazing. I'm excited that both games are coming together. It's been visually remade for the modern era. It's had a number of quality of life updates. It's polished. It has great online multiplayer features. You can customize the maps. And it's literally 2 games with sizable campaigns. So I think it's a great deal. If you like that kind of game, I think you're going to love it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I don't disagree with anything you said.
I'm going to play it. I want to play it. I'm not a big Advance Wars guy. I've played one game.
Yep.
I think it was on GBA. I'm not a big Advance Wars guy, but I'm going to play it.
So my thing is nothing you said was incorrect, Andres. I agree with everything you said. That's the thing. I don't actually disagree. Just for me personally, as somebody who played through these games over a dozen times each, and then I've played through other games that have come out in this genre since, I'm not excited to just replay. People know that I'm a weird beast. I don't like replaying games. I need content to make me replay. You're not providing content. You're just providing quality of life. Then I don't care. No, I haven't played Breath of the Wild. My run I'm doing right now is my first ever time attempting to beat Master Mode and actually doing it, and I haven't touched the game in 4 years.
Okay.
Like, I
haven't
don't
touched it.
replay games.
I haven't
Only
touched it
because
since I
Tears of
beat
the
it,
Kingdom. Like
so-
if they told me a brand new Advance Wars game was coming out, sure, I'll buy this and replay it.
right.
Excuse me.
But I'd be more excited for a new Advance Wars. Is basically what I'm saying.
Bless
I will-
These games are going to be
Thank you.
fine, and there's a lot of people that didn't play them.
Well, here's
So.
the thing: is this sort of a reintroduction or an introduction to the series for younger fans who haven't played Advance Wars?
Yeah, it's a whole new.
Yeah,
And
one.
then
yeah. Well,
following,
absolutely.
if this does well, there
Absolutely.
will be another new Advance Wars game that you
Sure.
will like.
Absolutely, but
I'll also
I'm,
point
by
out.
the way, I already bought it, so like it's not like I'm not supporting it.
You've told me you've beaten Prime Remastered, and apparently you don't like replaying games. So I think that speaks quite highly of the 6th highest rated game on the Nintendo Switch. Metroid Prime
Yeah, well,
Remastered.
to be fair, I haven't played Metroid Prime since the year it came out. Like,
Really?
it had
Oh,
been
wow.
long enough for me to do it again. Basically, I had forgotten enough to make me want to replay it.
Metroid Prime's one of those games I replay every couple of years.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Resident Evil 4 is another one of them.
Yeah,
Wind Waker and Twilight Princess would have been if they were out on Switch early on. I did actually replay both recently on my Wii U, but
yeah. I would have started those games, but I don't think I would have beat them again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens with a lot of games when I try to replay. I start and don't beat. But if it was a long break, think about when Metroid Prime came out. It's been a long time. Yeah, I forgot a lot. So it was nice playing through something familiar, but rediscovering things all over again.
Will you play through Prime 2?
Probably. If it comes out, yeah. I'll probably replay it. Yeah. I'll probably play all 3 of them. We'll see on 3. I'm a bit more recent with 3. And I didn't enjoy it as much too. So we'll see though. Depends on what they do with it.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting how they handle those.
Yeah. So 3, I don't know. We'll see. But I mean, I'm definitely obviously I'm doing 4, going to beat that probably.
Oh, let me ask you a question then.
So.
Because we got some rumors about some remasters.
Yes, we do.
So are you gonna buy F-Zero? I think F-Zero is gonna. I mean, F-Zero is gonna be like a multiplayer game, probably with online play. Like
I
that
think
one's gonna make a
because
lot
of the
sense.
online play aspect, definitely, because that was the one thing we didn't have back in the day, and it would have made sense. And again, how long has it been since that game came out?
Also, they'll probably make it easier to get the AX tracks, so there might for you
Probably.
it might be like new content. I'm assuming you didn't get the AX tracks. Most people didn't.
No, I didn't.
They're like
know,
almost
so.
impossible to get.
When are we gonna
No.
get that Astro Boy Omega Factor remake that I've been wanting forever?
I don't know. When you work at Nintendo and make decisions.
Yeah, that's a good
because
idea.
no one remembers or likes that game.
Where's Mother 3, Reggie?
Except for me. Yeah,
You know
what's
what
up
I
with
want?
that, dude? That's been teased for so long and hyped up for so long, and absolutely nothing. Like, has anything been said about that recently
Yes,
at
actually.
all?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people missed the story, but a few years back, Emily Rogers, who initially gave us like the slip that it's coming,
Right.
we've heard that it was something that was considered, but the plans fell through.
I do remember that actually.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's not that it's just it's that they were going to do it and then it didn't come to market, which is the thing about rumors, right? Like the idea of a rumor, if it's coming from a solid source, it's something that isn't complete yet entirely, and it's subject to change. So even if you 100% believe a source, you still have to take it with a grain of salt because there's all sorts of things that can happen. So
Yeah.
Like everybody's
Yeah.
1-2 switch being dumb, but having bad play testing, and we may never see it.
yeah, there's probably a lot of games that have been on the works that we never see actually come to market. I mean, we talked about the open world Donkey Kong thing from Activision not that long ago, right? So that's a whole other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I just want to say one little thing.
Yeah.
I even though the initial Mother 3 effort didn't come to market, I don't think that means that we'll never see Mother 3 come.
I think you never say never on something like that.
Yeah.
Like they've re-released it in Japan.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know there's a lot of copyright and a lot of stuff that they got to get through and probably redo. But
I feel like we got a better chance of a remake of the series than just a
I'd
straight
be
localization.
all for that.
Yeah. I mean, I think
a lot of people would be.
oh yeah, that would be amazing.
And it depends on how they handle it. I mean, That's
they-
an epic franchise. They could do it in a lot of crazy ways, or they can do it the easy way, whatever they decide to do.
Sure. I mean, remember Earthbound 64? Initially, Mother 3 was going to be like this big epic 3D RPG on Nintendo
Yep.
64. At the time, it was extremely ambitious.
Yep.
Like if that game had come out, we would probably still be talking about today as like one of the best N64 games. But obviously it didn't. But what if they were to like go back to that drawing board and reimagine the Mother series in 3D? That would be hype, but also that would require a great deal of ambition behind an unproven IP in this age.
So what's Nintendo doing the second half this year, guys? Besides DLC, like we know DLC, they have a lot of games doing
Well,
DLC.
Pikmin 4 comes out in July, so
Yeah, that's in the second half. That kicks it off. Hey,
yeah. I believe F-Zero and Paper Mario might be remasters.
the
we see
Thousand
coming
Year
out.
Door.
Yeah, I think those
That
are.
would be awesome.
I feel like those are like summer to early fall releases.
I
Okay.
think we see a brand new Mario game for holiday.
So
I think
my
we see
holiday
it.
season's a little weird, because we just don't know anything. It's like if there's new hardware this holiday, that changes my
Mhm.
thought. Like I think a brand new 3D Mario will drop this holiday if there's new hardware. If there isn't, I think they're going to
Agreed.
hold it for that. So
Agreed.
then it'll be
New
something
hardware.
else. So like,
Agree.
yeah, like it's and granted, I don't know what's going to happen. And now we have that Nintendo Live 2023, which means nothing. It's just a celebration.
Yeah.
Well,
And they've done events like it before.
let me give you some pushback on that, though. Right?
Sure,
Like,
sure.
I was watching the Kid and Krista show, and their thumbnail was like insider details, right? So they
Yeah.
were sort of alluding to the idea that it might be a little bit of a bigger deal. I'm still inclined to agree with you that it's not like an E3 replacement, but maybe I mean, remember Space World? Like, what if it is? I mean, it can kind of enter that conversation where it becomes an event where we play up some upcoming games, not just old games, right? So, what if they line up things with this live event with a September Direct, and there are some games that haven't come out yet that's like an opportunity to get some early access. And
Or
what's
if they
interesting
launch,
about
or they could be like, we're launching new hardware. And,
Right.
They're
So
not
there's
going to talk about that now. Like that would be something they would announce for the event later.
exactly right. And here's the thing: even regardless of which camp you're in, if you're on Team Holiday 2023 or like early 2024, that could still either way there could still be potential for some playable games to switch to at this event. So that's what's kind of cool about it. And I do kind of wonder. It does make me wonder, like, why are they making this shift now? With all this talk about Switch 2, with the Mario movie and Tears of the Kingdom, like it feels like they are trying to make this a big year and have a lot of momentum. I speculate that it might not be a coincidence. So
Taker 610 mentions that they sort of owe us a Switch revision, don't they? Because the 2019 with the Lite, 2021 with the OLED. I mean, owe us is they don't owe us anything. They're a business. They can do what they
Yeah.
want.
but
I mean, that's a
wording.
pattern, but like
Yeah.
patterns get broken all the time.
I mean, look at what the trailer we're getting tomorrow. That does not fit the pattern. The pattern would have been a direct today.
Yeah, would have been a direct today or even tomorrow. Either way, it would have been a direct.
Yeah.
I think that look, I don't know what's happening with the hardware. Right? We're not going to go into a whole deep dive on speculation of hardware. We can do that on a different show, but I just feel that this Nintendo Live 2023, the reason that I just kind of feel like it's not going to have new game demos like that or not going to have new hardware there, they're advertising it so much as this big family event. And as soon as you do that, media bum rush, it gets overcrowded. Everyone's fighting to play the new hot thing. And it ends up not being a family event at that point. Like they're really pushing this is bring your kids, have fun. This
What if
feels like
there's a
the
media
Mario
day?
Plumber van. But then you're treating it as a media event, and they're advertising this as a big public family event.
I
Like
wish they were just doing it.
and by the way,
more-
they've done these events before. Like this isn't even a new event. They've done this already. They just didn't call it Nintendo Live.
Well,
so,
they've
like-
had Nintendo Live before, just not
Yeah,
in Seattle.
Yeah,
Right.
but then so near their headquarters. It's in Seattle. Yeah, look, I mean, I could be totally wrong. By the way, it's never been that big of a deal before. I don't know why it would be that big of a deal now. It's just a
Yeah, no,
nice,
I
fun
agree.
family
I
event.
don't. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, especially with the way they're marketing it. I don't see a lot coming out of it. I think they'll stick with the.
But I hope I'm wrong.
Direct.
By the way, I'd like to be wrong, and there's a whole bunch of stuff there, and we have a whole bunch of stuff to
Oh, me
cover as
too.
YouTubers. That'd be great.
Mhm.
Like, I
think
would
they have
love.
the
I would love to
Nintendo
be
Direct
Nintendo Live
formula
2023
down.
all September, man.
I
Let's
would,
go.
I would love a reason to go to Seattle.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never been there. so
I've
I'd
never
love
been to
go.
Seattle. I
Yeah.
heard it's beautiful, but you don't want to live there.
Yeah, well, September might be just before it gets too cold. So
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably a good time to go to Seattle.
yeah,
No, wait, I forgot. You live in Florida. Too cold for you is.
Eric's still thinking, dude, this is summer
like-
weather. What are we
I'm
talking?
like, I don't
Yeah.
think Seattle gets all that cold. I mean, it might, but I don't. I think the West Coast gets not as. I mean, it's not as cold as us, but
Well, here's what you have to remember: Seattle's in Washington, which is northern of like
that
it's.
doesn't mean anything.
Well, how far away is
Like,
it from
I
the
mean,
equator?
I mean, like Maryland and stuff doesn't get anywhere near as cold as us.
Sure,
September
north,
is in Washington is when it just
I know.
starts getting comfortable.
September in Washington.
I mean,
think
probably
it's
not wrong.
over.
oh, the
Yeah, I have no
opinions.
idea. I don't live there. I know they get snow, so that's all I know. But I don't know their weather patterns there. Obviously, I didn't grow up there. I don't know the weather patterns anywhere I didn't grow up. So basically, Wisconsin. That maybe you can extrapolate to Michigan and Upper Peninsula, Michigan.
Eh,
What's it
I
say?
think
What's their weather you like in September? I'm just curious.
67, 55.
I mean, it's the same here in September. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the same.
I mean, their lowest is like 39.
Eh, I don't know. We,
Yeah,
well,
but just-
we don't even get snow anymore until
Yeah.
like January.
Yeah.
At this point. So,
I
anyways,
think-
Everyone is just dragging Seattle in the
no,
chat.
no,
No,
Seattle. I know people that live
live
No,
there.
not here.
Seattle
But
are
in the
dragging.
chat.
Oh, in
Everyone's
the
like,
chat.
Seattle sucks.
I mean, look, everyone's got their favorite places out there. Everyone's got their favorite places out there.
like
you know.
Chipotle or Charpotle.
Chipotle. See, I've seen a few comments in the chat about the shirt. It is pretty badass.
Yeah,
It's
I have
from,
I have the t-shirt version of that.
Yeah, I think it's Glitch Tea, right? Glitched Tea, I believe, is the company. If you guys
Yeah.
want to look them up to buy this stuff, it's pretty cool.
There may or may not be a future sponsor. We'll see.
Yeah. I've been talking to him a little bit. Might be giving away some stuff. We'll get into that later though. All right. Let me go back to the podcast notes here. What do we got up next? I think that might be it for this week. I think we've hit the end. Awesome.
Yeah.
I
I just wish that. Though,
Okay,
with-
bye.
here, one last.
See ya, Andres.
Yeah, with the Nintendo Life, I wish they would have did a few more sites than just one. Like spread it throughout the
Nintendo.
US. Do like a Minneapolis, do like a or a Midwest, an East Coast.
what Nintendo
South,
spend
and-
more money?
Yeah, right.
I mean,
But I
They
mean,
never do anything in Florida, for God's sake.
technically they have. Back when
They
they actually
did?
cared about E3, they used to put some of the E3 demos at Best Buys all around the US.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was again when they cared. Now it's like, no, come to us.
The Nintendo Live
Mhm.
event's gonna be like a little bit of a mini theme park. Like they might put a lot of
Yeah.
statues and stuff.
I think it's gonna feel like a carnival, sort of. It's
it's,
have a carnival vibe with
Yeah.
video games. Probably some
Yeah.
movie
it's
stuff
gonna be
now.
their E3 booth.
It's
It's not gonna be replacing E3, but it'll be. their
it'll be
E3
like an
booth.
E3 booth.
On that note, direct this June? Yes? No?
yes.
There will
I
be
mean, I
something.
feel like they have to.
I mean,
'Cause we know nothing
we just
after
don't get,
Pikmin.
or we just don't get games for the summer. That's
that's
you know.
possible too. Which
Is
it would be.
Is it?
It would be. Well, what if it
work on
was
your
scary,
backlog.
dude? Do you don't think it would be scary if Pikmin 4 comes out and we don't know what the next new game is at all? We don't even have a hint. We don't even know. We know nothing.
This
Pikmin
has
4
happened.
drops and there's nothing.
This has happened before, but that was because it was a global pandemic.
You will play
Oh.
shovelware. and
But
you won't
even
like
then,
it.
I mean, we still
But
got
even th-
games.
Even then, we still got games. They just kept us in the dark on it until the very last minute. Yeah. So either A, they give us
Just
some
work on
random.
your
Oh,
backlog.
sorry.
shout-outs,
What year was that exactly? When we were in the dark,
2020.
2020.
2020.
Because I remember
I
Animal
feel like
Crossing
there was
came out-
one game we actually did know about that we never
Forbidden
had
Year.
none. I'm
There's
pretty sure there
Animal
was one
Crossing
game.
came out in March, and then I don't think we knew anything until May when they announced Paper Mario, which came
Animal
out in
Crossing
July.
was all we needed, dude. I
Correct.
played that for a year straight.
And then
I think we got to the point where Paper Mario came out and we still didn't know anything.
at the end of August, they
Of
had
course, I
that
can't get my-
Mario 35th Direct and announced 3D All Stars.
Which came out 2 weeks later.
And then at the end of September, they dropped the first trailer for Age of Calamity.
Yes.
And then after that, everything was kind of flowing again because it was like Age of Calamity, and then we got
Pikmin
that.
3 Deluxe.
Yeah, and then we got that big
Yeah.
direct in February 2021, and everything was kind of back on
Back to
pace from
normal.
there.
Right.
Sorry, I was looking at stuff here, but the game I was thinking of wasn't 2020. So
Yeah, I mean, so there's basically one of two situations. Either A, we get a direct in June, or come May or June, they have a shadow announcement of, oh, F-Zero GX is coming out in
Well,
2 weeks.
let's
See you
clarify what
then."
kind of direct in June, because I think
That
there'll be
would
a
be-
direct in June no matter what, but it could just be a third party one.
I have a hard time seeing us getting by with just a partner direct.
I mean,
Well,
I could
there's
see-
caveats to this,
Okay.
right? There's caveats to this. I don't think we get so like let's say for example, come May or June, we get an announcement of the Xenoblade DLC coming out in June, right? And then they also do the same way they handled Paper Mario. They make an announcement for another remaster to come out in a month or two, be it F-Zero or Paper Mario, right? And that comes out a little bit after Pikmin 4. So then they give them a little bit of a wiggle room. And then they do have a partner showcase. And that partner showcase has at least one game that's somewhat tantalizing to the Nintendo fan base, but third party. And that pushes us up close to the September time period.
I guess
That-
Persona
if-
6.
Yeah, so
Okay.
something like that, I can see them doing, and then we could get a partner showcase. But otherwise, I think we actually kind of need some kind of direct, even if it's a mini. If it's a direct mini that just announces remasters until like September, sure. But at least you know what I mean? Like it's either a partner direct with a random like social media announcement of at least one big Nintendo game to come out during the summer. B, it's a direct mini with announcing remasters until September, or C, it's just a June direct and they announce their second half lineup.
I feel like I'm really leaning into new hardware this year just because the last 2 years we've known pretty much everything with the exception of like, you know, some like not shadow drops, but like closer to announcement releases. But we've pretty much known the whole year, last year especially, and now we don't know anything past Pikmin 4. We don't have a rumor
Just
of
DLC.
a date.
We know
Yeah, that's
DLC
it.
stuff, but yeah.
We know
Right.
Mario Kart DLC. That's like
And what's interesting
Sure.
about that is that Mario Kart DLC isn't even looking like it's going to last us the whole year because we're already waiting on Wave 5. Wave 4 came out in
they're
March,
kind of getting a little bit ahead of the of
right?
what we
Like
thought,
I
you
could
know?
see them being done by September or something, you know?
Maybe
Do you
because they
think-
have a new Mario Kart game this holiday, launch it with new hardware.
no way. I think they have
Maybe next
I
next
think-
year.
I
Hey,
think
let me dream.
the
Let me
ultimate
dream.
the big play here, if they really want to, you know, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, highest selling Switch game, if they really want to just wring out that last little bit of money, they finish the Mario Kart DLC by September
Holiday bundle.
and then a holiday bundle. And you bundle in the new Switch with Mario Kart 8 that also includes the DLC.
And a graphics enhancement patch.
That's how you ring just that little extra bit. And then you
Yeah.
have like a separate standalone like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that includes
Deluxe.
Oh,
the
no,
DLC,
no.
and then they
No.
swap that out for the one.
Man,
that's
he's
on
like,
sale.
no, I'm gonna cry. Stop this
No.
now,
No,
please.
but I mean, if there's
You
a new
hurt.
Switch, there's a game launching alongside of it
yeah,
for sure.
that's
A
the
new
thing that
game. A
I will say
new
this.
game that isn't DLC.
I will say this: if nothing happens in June, but like a partner direct or something, that only makes me feel like it's because they're waiting to drop the hardware announcement, because they know anything else they say at that time will be overshadowed by it. So we're gonna wait until they reveal in August or September or whatever.
If they're holding back on on announcing their
Right.
holiday lineup, that is going to make me suspecting that there's another event, and that is kind of like that does throw a little bit of wrench in the plans. Like what is the Switch 2 announcement event, right? And I think that
Which might not
that's-
happen this year, guys. By the way, could be next year,
Yeah.
the year after. We
Yeah.
don't know. We don't work at Nintendo. We have no idea what's going on.
I know it's not supposed to be a Switch 2 discussion stream, so I
Yeah, I know. Well, I feel like we're coming up on. There's been enough videos and rumors and murmurs out there that we probably should have one again at some point. But trying to get through Zelda because it could be like the next big discussion point after Zelda. But
Do we think a
We'll see.
Switch 2 announcement in June, like at a June Direct, is that too close to Zelda?
I don't think anything can be too close because Zelda's going to be on it.
Because
Well, I mean,
I would feel burned if
But-
I bought an OLED and then the next month they're like, oh, by the way,
I'm going to say this. I don't want to hear anyone feeling burned about buying Zelda OLED. The Switch OLED is not a new concept. It's been out since 2021. Let's stop.
Oop.
Let's stop. You didn't buy it because it's an OLED. You bought it because it's Zelda. You bought it for the collectors. Like the whole, I'm a Zelda fan. I want the Zelda product. Nick's like, I'm
Yeah,
out.
I'm gone.
I'm out.
Yeah.
F this guy.
battery died. That's
Oh, the
uh,
battery died. It
I
was like the
fucked
perfect time. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Right.
I just told him to F
Yeah.
off. My bad.
Yeah.
Come
I
back,
mean,
please.
I
Nate,
could see
you're-
them.
Nate, stop being a.
It's tough. Because like if Switch 2 is coming this holiday, maybe they don't do a proper direct because they don't want to announce the holiday lineup yet.
Yeah.
And they do have like some sort of stopgap series of announcements to kind of push us into late summer where they do make the announcement, and therefore, to Nick's point, maybe OLED buyers don't feel as burned if they wait 2 to 3 months as opposed to a month to announcing Switch 2.
I think they're going to feel burned either way. I don't think anytime this happens with PlayStation every year too. Like, oh, I just bought a PlayStation 4 to play X game like Ghost of Tsushima, but PS5 is coming out. Oh man, I feel burned. Why the hell did I buy a PS4? I should have waited. Like what you want, and this is just Nintendo as a business. I feel like what they want is they want to hit that point where people feel burned because that means people still care. And they have a history of people not caring. Well, think about it, Mandy. By the time the Switch came out, people didn't care about Wii U anymore. By the time the Wii U came out, people didn't care about Wii anymore. By the time GameCube came out, people were sort of getting over the N64. It was one of these, Nintendo has this pattern of we just let our systems die and then release something new. But if people still care enough that they're actually upset, well, then that means you still have a very passionate market of gamers that are probably eventually going to pick up your new system anyways. The way to quelch it is to just do what Sony does. This is how Sony deals with it. Everything's cross-platform the first year. So you don't have to buy the new thing. You're still getting the new games. That's Sony's approach.
Yeah, the
That's
tricky
a
part
good
is
approach.
it is a
It
good
works.
approach.
It
But
does
at the same
work.
time, like if you want Nintendo to make a leap, having exclusives matters to an extent.
Well, I could say things like Mario Odyssey is really great, and they could release a really, really great Mario game. Is it better on the new system? Sure. Still playable on Switch? Sure. Like they
That's
could
what
find a
was-
way.
yeah. I feel like they can't just go gun ho, and I got so many games. I don't want to just,
No, I hear you. And backwards compatibility helps a lot too. That's obviously a feature if they don't have, that's gonna be very disappointing.
And will be
if they
really
have
cool.
that, it's easier to stomach.
Yeah, and what'll be really cool is if this time all of your eShop purchases and your Nintendo Switch Online games transfer over seamlessly. that would be amazing.
That'd be a
That's
game
sexy.
changer.
AMO to $2 saying, how will new game release drop for Switch 2? New game release. They would
The
just
same way it happens for Switch.
yeah. I don't see
could've
there being a
put-
difference. Hey,
How
unless you're talking
soon?
about that recent Dune. Oh, how soon will new games
Yes.
release?
How soon?
Well,
will
whenever
you-
Switch 2 drops. I mean,
They gotta have some kind of launch.
Switch
game.
2 has
Well-
to come out before
Well,
you
it's
can
the
drop
question
games
is,
on it.
do they mean exclusives? Like,
Oh,
how long
that's
do we have
true.
to?
Yeah,
right,
how long?
'cause-
Yeah, okay. If you do cross-platform, like I think there'll always be at least one launch exclusive, no matter what. Nintendo's not gonna. They believe game sell systems.
So what if the next 3D Mario is switched to exclusive?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there'll be one big game, but then
Which
all
one?
the other games might be cross-platform. Like the next Kirby game might be cross-platform. The next, whatever.
What's
Um,
crazy is that if 3D Mario is exclusive,
Mandy's like, I don't want to buy one right now.
Let's just embrace the moment.
Well, let me
we don't
ask
know
you
what's
something,
gonna happen.
Mandy. We don't know
Mhm.
what's going to happen, right? But let's say a Switch 2 does come out, because it does seem like you're on the side that's a little perturbed if that does happen this year. What
I'm
upset?
not perturbed. It's more like
Pissed,
Not pissed.
No,
she
it's
doesn't like
like-
pissed. No.
furious.
there's like I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. If it does, then okay. But like, there's
But you don't
still
seem excited by the prospect. 'Cause, I mean, Switch came out in 2017. It's an old system now.
Oh, I'm first to say the Switch is underpowered and it needs an upgrade. But it's just the way Nintendo are going at it by just giving us nothing and then expecting us to have a new library, a new Switch, or the next console and be okay with it. I'm like, you have
Well,
to
I
lead
mean,
up. to the process.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of that is just because they haven't announced it yet. So if they announce it, they're going to
they don't
announce
say
games for
anything.
it. Well, they'll announce games for it. They're not going to announce a system and not announce games.
But
I
I
would
bet
be
you they're
okay
gonna
with
wait
third-party
to as close as
exclusives.
possible.
Oh yeah. They're not going to give us that year cycle that other platform holders get, like Xbox being announced at TGA and then it comes out the next year.
You know, as
I don't think
much as I
Nintendo's going
want
to do
them
that
to
either.
do that, as much as I want Nintendo, like personally,
Give
to
you that time
do-
to prep.
Yeah, if there's a company that won't, that'll do the whole cold turkey thing, it would be Nintendo.
It's Nintendo.
It would.
Yeah.
I'm
Announced today,
scared.
launch next month. Wait, what?
Mhm.
I don't even
Sold
have
out
enough money in
tomorrow.
my account.
Sold out tomorrow, and all of us
I
that
just
didn't
bought the
know.
Zelda OLED. What do you
No.
mean?
Do I
my
refund my
God.
Zelda OLEDs? I'm sorry, guys. Giveaway canceled. Buying Switch 2.
Listen, everybody out here buying that $350 Zelda OLED, I went on Etsy and bought a cover for my Switch that was $20, and I think it looks way cooler than the official OLED.
Look, if you like the official ones, people are already selling bootleg skins of it to put on your
Mhm.
current ones. If you just
Yep.
want to.
So what
Hey.
happens if we get a direct mini in June, announces a few remasters, and that's just basically it? And maybe what Nintendo does is they have a late August or early September event, and they just have like 2 big Switch 2 games to come out, like say October, November, maybe November, December, and that's what happens.
I can see him doing that. Like-
Again, embrace the moment.
Give
Work
us
on your
a
backlog.
August, September game and like trickle in some third-party indie games somewhere in there. And then in the end of August or early September, they say, all right, who's ready to spend $350 on a brand spanking new console?
Let's
It'll
go.
play Mario Kart in 1080p 60 FPS, but only when it's docked on your TV.
But that's what the
Yeah.
Switch does already.
Exactly.
But the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is 1080p 60 FPS.
Yeah, exactly.
I want 4K
Hmm.
extra reality.
It's not happening.
I do have a
Extra
question
free
for one person in the chat. and
Yeah,
I
right.
know Eric wanted to address this person today.
No, have at her.
We have our good old friend Risky Gulmar back in the chat. A famed person in my community, anyways, for always talking down everything Nintendo all the time, which is fine. That's troll behavior. It's cool. I remember a certain someone with those same initials saying that the Mario movie was gonna tank.
How's that working?
I'm
for you?
curious on your thoughts, Risky, in the chat on the fact that it is now the highest grossing animated film of all time in opening weekend.
But only for the first week. All the Nintendo fans went the first week after
Yeah,
that.
yeah, right. We're
It's
not
gonna
going to
plummet.
ever see it again.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
no
I'm waiting for
rewatches.
DVD.
Second
It's
week's
done.
gonna be a huge drop off, and it's just gonna flop.
By the way, we already have 2 additional days data that shows the drop off didn't happen. It's actually still
Yeah,
going
I don't
strong.
think there's going to be a
during the week.
huge. I mean, there'll obviously be
But
a little.
I'm not
drop-off,
bringing up those data points.
Yeah.
Let's just bring up highest grossing opening weekend ever.
but there'll be.
I'm
a-
just curious what he has to say because he said he
Yeah,
was
wow.
wrong. There we go. A man willing to admit the fault. That's good. All right. I just wanted to bring it up because he's always negative talking, but you can't really deny the stats and the facts.
Ooh.
All
You know what
right.
else?
But
Real
critics
quick.
still hate it.
But the fans
One
love
Yeah,
it, and
but
that's
the
all that
critics,
matters.
yeah.
The critics don't make movies money. The fans do.
It's a good movie. It's just I can
Yep.
I can see the pacing issues a little bit, but
Nobody cares about
it's
critics
still a
on movies.
fantastic movie.
Something else that might drop this year after Pikmin 4, Tears of the Kingdom DLC.
Yeah.
That is also something we
I
didn't
mean-
mention that could be in the trailer tomorrow, especially if Al Newman's going to get up and talk before and after and say, hey,
Yeah, they could announce because we knew Breath of the Wild DLC beforehand.
here's
I-
that day
I-
one DLC,
No.
wave one. I'm staying on that train. I'm going to stay on it.
That's fine. You're
they've
entitled
been
to your
announcing
opinion.
DLC. Well, they've been announcing DLC for almost all their big games early.
Yeah.
So-
but
But this would be a
one's
great time to
different.
pack it in.
So
What's different?
Just make it a.
yeah, I'll explain what's different. They're doing everything possible to be very quiet on this game.
But they
So
want
with
money.
I mean, could they do like a very vague?
We're gonna have 4
and-
waves of DLC, very vague, which is a slight tease of what wave 1 might be.
Sure, that's possible.
Give me $30
but
today.
I also personally speculate that they're gonna wait a little bit for the DLC on this one, just because I think they want that DLC cycle to tie into the Switch 2.
I mean, it still
Sure.
could if they do like a 4-wave.
Yeah, and they
Sure.
don't announce anything, and like one of the waves
Yeah.
is the graphics enhancement.
Well, the thing is, if they give us an outline, like a rough outline, they're kind of dating that, which I'm okay with.
Let's go. Give me
that's-
the outline.
Wave
Yeah.
1.
Let me
in
know
May.
when is each one dropping. Oh, this one's summer. This one's fall.
Well,
Well,
they'll
this one's
say-
specifically
Or summer.
March of 2024.
No,
Okay.
what it'll probably be, it'll be like all of these will be out by the end of 2024 or something. Which
What if they, all of them are out by the end of this year?
well then
And then we get real story DLC for Wave 4.
That's a whole nother
well-
conversation.
Well, then I predict a couple choice YouTubers are gonna be mad at you for saying Nintendo Switch 2 confirmed.
No, I will not say Nintendo Switch 2 confirmed on DLC dates. Come on now. I'm not that bad.
I
Give me
think
some
Monolith
credit.
Soft really just took the Tears of the Kingdom DLC by the neck and said, "All right, 4 waves. Wave 1 DLC. Wave 4 is a story. Something. Go for it. Go crazy."
Yeah, I don't know.
The timing's tricky, but I do think they're gonna tie in an expansion adventure with the graphics enhancement patch for Switch 2 at some point or another.
Sure.
In less than the next 2 years, within 2
Yeah,
years.
I think it all depends. Like, I think if the Nikkei report earlier this year that they're second half of next year, and I think all the DLC will be out by then. So I think there won't be like a DLC tie-in and graphics enhancement patch. It's just going to be something that happens when the system comes out. At that point, assuming it's a holiday next year, and assuming they even do holiday, of course, Nintendo can release it whenever the hell they feel like at this point. I think they've kind of proven that as long as we have the software, people will come. At least that seems to be what I think that's one of their big takeaways of that first year of Switch is, hey, we got the games, people will come. So let's just make sure we have the games.
I think that was also reinforced in 2020 because they were the only ones who had the games. And then they did really good in 2020.
Yeah, it also helps when Animal Crossing is like that was a lot in 1 year.
Oh,
That was
here's,
so
that-
much in 1 year.
here's how Nintendo
Number.
guarantees the success for Switch 2. You guys ready? Here it is. So there won't be any DLC for Tears of the Kingdom. I'm joking, just for the record. But they announced Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD. No, not HD. 4K, 60
there you go.
FPS.
Don't
Switch-
do this to me.
That's it.
Switch 2 exclusives.
That's it. That's why
That's
they're not
it.
on Switch. It's because
20 million
4K.
day one bought. There you go. Switch 2 becomes the best-selling system of all time because of Twilight Princess and Wind Waker 4K.
I think
Which
that
is
would work.
100% a joke.
No, I don't think that would sell 20
50.
million each.
50.
I think though, if they pulled something off like that and did it for Ocarina of Time, that would.
Whew.
Yeah,
But you mean like
that would
Ocarina-
make people go nuts because we've already
But-
seen these games in HD. We technically haven't seen Ocarina of Time in HD.
You're
at
talking.
all.
Oh, so by the way, I was just talking about.
And they
upscaling.
remake it.
I was
I
talking
know.
about upscale.
I know you were talking about upscale, yeah. But if
But-
they remake Ocarina of Time in 4K,
Are you joining me on that bandwagon?
Oh, that they're gonna do it?
Yeah, are you joining me?
They want to do it. Yeah, let's go. I want it to
Let's
happen.
do it. All right.
Ocarina of Time is the game that that got me here. That game, I know it's not like in my top 10 Zelda games, guys, but it's still important. Without Ocarina of Time, I would have never started making Zelda fan sites, and that ultimately led me to being in front of you guys today. So Ocarina of Time is one of my favorite games, to be clear.
I think
Let's
it's
go.
the perfect way to give us a good quality holdover until, the next big 3D Zelda 7 years from now when
Yeah, absolutely.
we're
We had a final
Different
super chat
people.
from Samuel A, who said, "When does everybody think Switch 2 is coming specifically?"
Does he
2025.
want? Does he want a date?
Well, he said specifically, so I'm presuming at least a month
I-
and a year,
at
maybe even a
least.
date.
All right.
I'm giving you a date right now. You ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna look at my calendar. I'll give you a
Yeah,
date.
I'm opening the calendar myself for a date.
Does anybody remember when the OLED launched? It's like what, beginning of October? I think
I think it was right after. Was it before or after Dread?
it was same day. I think. Hold on.
Can't remember.
I don't
October
think I could.
13th. That's the day.
That's the day you're picking.
You heard it here
Why
first
so
from my
specific?
sources.
Well, I mean, he said
my
specific.
sources.
Samuel A said specific. So
Yeah, and
Oh,
my
I don't
my
have a
sources,
date.
by the way, just to
November-
be clear.
do you have a month,
15th,
Mandy? Do you have a month and a
2024.
year?
Maybe
what was the date, Darren?
holiday. 'Cause that's when
November 15th, 2024.
Holiday, November 15th,
2024.
2024.
Oof.
Yeah,
I'm
someone
going-
near the holiday, if anything.
March 22nd, 2024.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. My sources are in my head. As Charles
Yeah.
says.
He's not. By
Yeah.
the way, I don't have any sources on this either, guys. This is just.
This is total. We're just totally.
This is just guessing. I'm going different.
All right.
We got Mandy
Yeah.
saying holiday. Got Darren saying next year, Christmas time.
Straight
saying-
from my uncle who works at Nintendo. 100%. It's confirmed. Switch 2, you heard it here first on the Nintendo Prime podcast, is coming on October 6th, 2023.
You
Great
went
birthday
1 week
present
earlier
for me.
than me. How dare you?
Price
Great
is right,
birthday
baby.
present for me.
Price is right.
Good
Yeah,
birthday
I was
present for
gonna
Eric.
say
Yeah.
that.
Hell yeah.
Darren's
days
probably
later,
right though.
but-
It's
All
probably,
right.
probably 2 years from now.
All right. I think we're gonna wrap things up. We'll definitely, guys. It definitely seems like our panel of guests and a lot of people in the chat would love for us to do a really deep dive on Switch 2 stuff. We have a lot of stuff we talk about with specs and hopes and dreams and games, and we'll do a full podcast on this. Who knows? Maybe sooner than later. I know next week for sure we'll probably do some more Tears of the Kingdom stuff. But who knows? Maybe by the end of the month we sneak in a Switch 2 podcast. We'll see what
I
happens.
think we need to do then Mario movie spoiler cast.
Yeah, we talked last week on what would be a good
did.
timing to do that.
Yeah.
We either, if it's a main podcast episode, we have to pick a date that's far enough out that people would want to watch. If it's a special episode, then that's kind of different because then it would just be a bonus episode where we're like, this is a
Right.
side episode. It's 1 hour long. We're just talking about the Mario movie
I would be
spoilers.
down for that.
Yeah. So
Just gotta invite Shigeru Miyamoto.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
Jack Black, good Jack Black on. That'd be great.
Oh, even Jack
Peaches
Black.
ready.
I mean, I'll settle for Jack Black.
Yes, Charlie Day. Dude, I'll get any of them. That'd be
You get
great.
Michael Key.
Michael Key. Oh yeah.
Anya
Pratt?
Taylor Joy.
Anna Taylor. Yeah.
Whole
Just-
cast. Whole
You
cast.
just started to stick the whole cast. That's what the podcast. It's the whole
Oh, no,
cast.
Keegan Michael Key though would be as Toad. If you, but he has to speak as Toad.
Yeah, dude, give me the Toad voice. Oh, he'd
Toad
do
voice.
it. That wouldn't even be. He wouldn't even
At
think
least
about it.
for a
He'd
second.
probably come in and just start talking that way, and we were just like, yes.
Did he study at Penn State? I studied at Penn State. I could be like, hey, yeah, so we both went to Penn State
Yeah, we're
together.
come on.
Not together. He's a lot older.
Yeah, we're in the same graduating class.
Yeah.
We got Bama Hut. Oh wait, no, that's all right. Sorry, there was a Bama Hut one further down. Oh, that's right. I don't know if I can show member chats. Hold on. And in this current thing I'm in, I might just have to read it off. I'll have to read it off. So Bama Hut did a member chat saying 2 more months and will be 2 years since he's been a member. So
That's crazy.
congratulations, Bama, for
That's
that's
crazy.
awesome, man. So we're gonna get things wrapped up around here. That is gonna do it for episode 16 of season 2 of the Nintendo Prime Podcast. We'll be back again, same time next week. Clearly having the deep dive after we've marinated on all the new footage for a week and whatever we got going on. We will, by the way, I want to note, we will be talking about Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp next week. That is a topic that happens. It's launch week. We're gonna be talking about it, and trust me, I will avoid my I'm not as excited take because I know some people are excited. So we should really dive into why it matters, why it's important historically. And it is an unsung franchise. So I'm really glad it is coming back in general. So we'll talk about that next week. And who knows? There could be some other news that happens between now and then that ends up needing to get in there as a topic as well. I want to thank all of you guys for being here. Mandy, where can they find you and what do you got going on?
Oh, hi, I'm Mandy. I have a channel, Mandy Lee Plays, where I talk about gaming. Unlike these wonderful people, I don't really do news. I do more like evergreen content and
Yeah.
RPGs. So if you want some of that, subscribe. So,
To be
yeah.
fair, I'm the only channel here I would classify as I am news. Yes. Like specifically. Nick Barrett, where can they find you and what you got going on?
Well, I'm here representing the Joystick Drift podcast.
Yeah, just watch your latest episode.
Oh, thank you. We put out new podcasts every week, talk about a variety of things. We just put out an episode on the games that impacted us the most.
Nice.
We're definitely going to be doing at least one more Zelda episode before the game drops, but it's a little difficult because some of the hosts are going spoiler free and some of us are not. So it's like we can't all talk about it. But aside from that, I'm putting out a video on Friday with 6 eShop games that I think are worth playing. So we do podcasts and then more discussion content like that. And you can find us on YouTube at the Joystick Drift Podcast.
Yep. And to reminder, all the channels are linked down in the description. Darren, I don't know even who you are anymore. So what do you got to say?
Twitter at real DER.
Real darn.
I only tweet when I'm mad. Usually about video games or football. So
I mean, fair
go
enough.
there.
Honest.
Otherwise,
I love the
you can
honesty.
you can just hear me here on Wednesdays.
Awesome. Eric, hi, who are you?
I'm nobody. I'm an illusion.
Ooh.
I can't
Not
even
even
see
a real
it.
gamer.
Yeah, I know
No,
it's
no.
darkening. He's,
Yeah,
he's
right. Yeah, right.
calling him, and now it's like,
Yeah, right.
oh,
Oh, hey, whoa, I'm actually bright now.
yeah,
Wait,
it's
what?
because when you look in the camera, it tracks your eyes, and then it actually brightens
Oh.
your face. Oh man,
Heck
I
with this
know
camera.
it's a webcam, Eric.
I know.
You don't get the nice camera. Sorry. Eventually,
You have one sitting
Big
in here
sad.
that's nicer than this.
no, I don't. No, I don't. This is the only camera I have.
The iPhone.
No, I can't use that one.
No.
If it's set up, my kids are going to steal it.
Fair enough.
Sorry. Yeah, the whole thing with my children and electronics. You know, I'm a little careful sometimes.
Fair enough.
No,
They can find me here. That's about it.
technically
Behind
on
the
Twitter
scenes- And Twitter.
at emo8790.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, he's here almost every single Wednesday. Sometimes he has to miss because of work, but he does some other behind the scenes stuff as well. And you'll see him pop in the chat on my live stream sometimes. Like he was in there yesterday during the 100K stream. Probably would be there tomorrow during the Zelda stream, but of course
Yes,
he won't be.
I'll be driving.
So there's that. And then we have our good pal Andres Restart, who looks like he's slumping so much he's ready to slip into a coma.
It's late, bro. It's like midnight.
I know. What do you
Yeah.
got going on over there, man? Where can they find you?
Well, Andres Restart. You see my name, you can click on it. Well, I don't think you can click on it.
No, you
but-
can't click on it.
Yeah. But,
That would be
but you
cool.
can
You
type
too.
it.
Add that feature so I can add clickable.
Sorry,
name
man.
tags.
It's been a day.
It's been a day. It has
a
been
good day. A good day, but a busy day. And tomorrow is gonna be an even busier day.
Yep.
So if you decide you
Crazy
feel
busy tomorrow.
like tuning into my live stream as well, if you want to watch all of our live streams at the same time, or pick
Turn
one.
on every screen in the house.
Yeah,
Let's
you
go.
can watch me live stream the trailer tomorrow, and then there'll be a pre-show, then all that jazz, and there will be a trailer analysis dropping
Yes.
at some point tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Watch
yeah.
his trailer analysis. I don't really do trailer analysis. We'll kind of look at it after the fact. We'll do like a live one, but he'll have the deep dive one. You want to go check his out. It's always really good. So
appreciate that, buddy.
yeah. So shout out to Bama Hut as well, who gets a membership to Dank Meme Center X. Awesome. Thanks for the support. So yeah, you guys know who I am at this point. Obviously, this is the Nintendo Prime podcast. I assume you found it because you found my YouTube channel, because we do host it on the YouTube channel. I post news and discussion videos. That's really what I focus on a lot. Every now and then there'll be some more kind of unique stuff. There's reviews once in a blue moon, like we reviewed Sparks of Hope, but we'll see. We just sort of slipped into this full-time YouTube thing, crossing 100K. So we're just kind of playing the field and seeing how we'll expand content moving forward. But one of my most proud things we do every week is the Nintendo Prime podcast. It is literally the foundation of everything I've done on YouTube. So you guys are awesome. And you can find me on YouTube at Nintendo Prime. Are you clapping like a, is it because I mentioned the 100K thing?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm just clapping because Andres was clapping.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's what I
By the
was
way, our next subscriber goal is 133K, and I think this is really neat because it's like, why 133? Why not 125 or 150? Nintendo's 133 years old, so I just think it's a really neat number to see 133 by my name when Nintendo itself is 133 years old. I don't know. It's just a really neat little fact. I don't know. We'll
Nice.
see. Hopefully, we can hit it at some point this year. But who
Shout
knows?
out to
Bro.
Love Hotels.
The Love Hotels.
They are
but yeah,
lovely.
if you've discovered us randomly, because we've randomly played on XM radio and it's weird. So if you discovered it through our audio version, hi, I am Nathaniel Revel-Jantz. I
Hi.
run a YouTube channel. You should come check it out. The video version's even crazier because you get to actually see the super chats that we feature. You also get to see sometimes imagery, like we shared the image that people were talking about today. Sometimes we even share trailers. Like, don't be surprised next week on the podcast if you're watching the video version that the 3-minute thing that pops up is actually shown during the stream as we're talking about it, because that's like what we do. We try to create a good show
This is
around here.
news to me. What's up with this XM radio deal? What?
I don't have a deal with XM radio. We what
Well-
happens is our podcast goes to iHeartRadio, which will occasionally on certain XM channels play random shows that they have on their thing, and sometimes will pop up. It's weird.
That's
It's
cool.
very weird. It's cool,
weird,
but
but it's
also it's
cool.
very weird because I never know when it's going to happen, and they don't
I
tell me.
could be on the radio. Wow.
So what happened this
Yeah.
week?
Don't know. I have no idea because I'm never warned when our episode's going to go because they just pick random stuff.
What's
So-
up, XM radio?
Yeah, right.
I only know because I actually heard one of my episodes. I was in the car. I'm like, oh, am I Bluetoothing my phone in? No, I'm on XM.
That's weird.
I'm on the radio.
On the radio.
That's amazing.
Where's my money? I didn't get a paycheck for this. No, I probably have to pay them.
Yeah, right.
All right, guys. Bama Hut also want to say congrats on the 100K subs. By the way, you totally missed it. Yeah, dude, you missed it. We had a baller stream last night. It was crazy. Yulia was there. We had confetti popping everywhere. Just
It
so you
was
know,
a
Bama
baller
Hut,
stream.
she during the stream, she went to Walmart to buy every single confetti popper there is. I still have a ton more, and it has now been agreed that every $100 super chat until we're gone is getting a confetti bomb. So just
was a
throwing
great
that out
stream.
there for future live streams. She bought so many of them.
She did.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was
She
awesome.
come in like two-handed, just here you go.
Worth it.
Anyways, catch you guys same time next week.
Later.
Peace, peace.
Uh-huh.
All right.